All right, welcome guys. First off, I just want to say thank you for joining us. This is going to be fun. These are the types of events that I actually enjoy doing, where I get to learn something as because I bring in experts in fields. And today is going to be GoGo Bethke, who is absolutely phenomenal at social media, has built a great following, and knows what she's doing in this field. And I said this would be really great to introduce to the Anderson audience. So invited her along, and she was gracious enough to say yes and come out and work with us. So, let me do a couple little things. I'm going to share my screen first off, and if you could give me a reaction, hopefully everybody has a reaction. Give me a thumbs up if you could see a screen that says how to build a booming business with social media. All right, so we already see a bunch of thumbs up. Fantastic. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be learning how to leverage social media in your business. There's already been a couple questions, and I'm just going to explain something here. First off, we will send out a recording of this. So if there's parts where you're like, oh man, I just missed that, don't worry. We'll send you out a recording. Hey, team, how long do you think it'll take to get a recording out? Do you think about a couple days, few days? Somebody just let me know, and I'll make sure that I communicate that to you guys. Well, how long will it take, Kate, to get a recording of this out to everybody? We'll see. A few days, usually 3 days. There we go. All right. So we'll make sure that we get this out to you. So if there's a part where, again, something goes too fast, or you want to go over it, or you want to share it with somebody, please feel free. This is public domain information. I want it to go out there and benefit as many people as humanly possible. And that's why we're putting on this presentation. So other things, if you have questions, and something comes up where it's a burning question that you've always wanted to get answered, don't put it in chat, put it in the Q&A, and that way it doesn't get washed away when several hundred people make a comment. And that happens, and all of a sudden your question gets it gets buried in an avalanche. Just for sake of showing how this is done, if I ask you guys to put something in chat, here's an easy one. Where are you sitting today? In what city and state? Maybe just share where you're sitting, put it in chat. And when I start trying to read them, they're going to go so fast because there's hundreds of people on here. So we have Indiana, Raleigh, North Carolina, Dallas, Redondo Beach, California, Boise, Idaho, another Boise, Idaho, Fort Lauderdale. Now they're going too fast. New Jersey, there's California, there's Texas, there's Maui, aloha, and welcome to you guys from the islands. Baltimore, Maryland, there's Manila, Philippines, we got New Mexico, Pennsylvania, Chicagoland, Orlando. Like, they're going too fast, right? So if you tried to put a question in there, there's a good chance that I would never be able to answer it, nor would any of my team. We have a full team. We have GoGo and her team on here, as well as our team, to make sure that we get your questions answered. So if you do have a question, put it up into the Q&A. And I can already see this. Somebody that says, share the speaker's IG handle. So I'll get GoGo to do that. I'm sure she's going to do it as part of her slide anyway. And we'll get into that. All right. So what are we going to go through today? It's going to be fun. It's going to be how to use social media to boost your business. And really what we care about is the no nonsense stuff. We're going to drill right into what actually works. Now, at Anderson, we use social media. Chances are you found this on social media, or you're part of our mailing list because you're part of our clientele. So thank you. And if you're part of our following on social media, thank you. I love, I'm not the best at Instagram and X and TikTok. I do a lot on YouTube. So I'm actually very interested in what GoGo has to say on those other platforms. I'm interested in what she has to say on all platforms. But you can take this and immediately use it. Anderson does. This is a big driver of our business. And so I really believe that folks get the biggest bang for their buck out of using social media. It's one of those platforms that if you use it well and you learn to use it right, it's going to pay off maximum dividends. And it's so, like, a lot of it seems like hocus pocus. There's these groups out there, agencies that are doing things. No, learn how to do it yourself, and that way you can direct other folks to do it. GoGo's going to go through a walkthrough of the different social media tools and how your business can do it, and some best practices. I'm going to come in after GoGo and talk about the structure of the business, how you can set up your business, whatever it might be, to minimize the taxes on it and to maximize the amount of money you get to keep in your pocket. It seems kind of interesting that people would work so hard and then they end up giving half of it to the government. Our job is to make sure that we're minimizing that amount. Like, it's okay to pay taxes. I say this to people all the time. Zero taxes isn't necessarily a good thing. You want to pay some taxes, but you don't need to leave a tip to the government, right? You don't need to write them a little extra. Here's an extra 50%, right? You don't have to do that. We'll show you ways that you can keep it. GoGo's going to go over database marketing. This is something that we do here at Anderson. We know it well. And listen to her when she starts talking about how to work through the different social media platforms to benefit and boost your business. If all you walk away from today is learning those skills, you could actually, those are marketable skills. You could go out there and start your own business and help others and get paid to do it. It's actually a great vehicle to make money, and it's a high yielding because the returns are so huge for most people that they're willing to pay a premium for people that actually know what they're doing. Now, you probably know who I am. If you don't know who I am, I'm an attorney, been doing this for 27 years. Been with Anderson for 25 years, one of the founders. I work in the field of business planning, tax planning, and estate planning. These are the waters I work in, and I try to maximize the amount of revenue that my clients get by minimizing their tax burdens and other things, and to minimize the bullseye that you put on your back as you generate income. Like, it's just one of those things. Social media is no different. If you put yourself out there into the public realm, you got to make sure that you're not leaving yourself exposed. In other words, I want privacy for my clients that have public exposure. It's just a fact of life, is that there's certain folks out there that when you start putting yourself out there, and this doesn't have to be you. You may not be making a public persona of yourself in social media. You may just be showing how to do it in a business. But if you do, we really want to make sure that you ensure your privacy. And I will go over how you can protect yourself and keep your name out of the public record as far as your assets. So even though I'm out there a lot, GoGo's out there a lot, it would be very, very difficult to find out what we own because we use anonymity shields to make sure that somebody can't tell. And this is something that everybody does that's in the public realm. It's something that police officers, for example, almost get automatic. You don't want crooks and criminals that they arrest to know where they live. Judges are no different. But for the rest of us, we don't get that protection. So sometimes you want to make sure that somebody can't find what you have, because invariably, if somebody thinks you're successful, they may try to take it. So we're going to take that bullseye off you. That's what I get to do. I'll show you how to keep your money. GoGo is going to show you how to do social media. In fact, GoGo, if you're out there, let's unmute yourself and let's see your smiling face.
I sure am. I was about to take a video of you to tag you.
Ah, you're so good.
I was working already in the background.
Yes, you know what you're doing, so you could take a video, you could do it live, right? Here's the reality. I always say this, like, GoGo knows social media. Me, not so much. Oh, I still think it's Twitter. Ha ha ha, right? No, there's a little bit of reality there. I am not the social media guru. I know how to use it. Oh yeah, stop it, you guys. The reactions, you guys are killing me. GoGo knows how to use social media. I know how to use social media to the extent that I can direct others to make sure that we know how to use social media. It always helps to learn to do it yourself, whether you are the one directing it or whether you are the one who's doing it. If either, those are both great, fantastic skills that always comes down to you still need to learn what it is that you're doing. And that's why GoGo's here. I actually put together an agenda. Here's the agenda, guys. GoGo will teach you how to make money with social media. I'll show you how to keep it, right?
I love
GoGo
that.
social media, Toby is tax, Toby is asset protection. But that's what we're going to do today. If you spend the time with us, we're booked for 3 hours. Hopefully, if we can get out early, we will. But I have a feeling we're going to use it all up because I'm verbose and GoGo has a ton of great information. I'm going to get out of her hair and let her present it. But GoGo is all about teaching you the actual skills that you need in social media. And I'm so glad that you came to join us, GoGo. She's been a client for a while, but just a fantastic leader of people. In fact, didn't you just do a TED Talk?
I did. I just came home on Sunday late at night. I did a TED Talk in Romania in Hungarian because I'm Hungarian by nationality. I am from Transylvania, and I got to do a TED Talk all the way at home. So you think I wouldn't be nervous? Like, I'm not nervous to speak in English at all, but I was nervous to speak in Hungarian because I learned business English. I learned it in English, right? So I didn't even know if I have the vocabulary to explain what I learned in my adult life in Hungarian because I left when I was 21 years old. And yeah,
Did you
I
say
guess
Transylvania? Like
I stay
everybody
in the
that hears everybody that hears Transylvania immediately thinks that this is
vampires. Look at you see
yeah.
it?
I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it.
See
Well,
my
let's get
face?
out of the way. I don't think GoGo's a vampire. I'm just gonna say it. I don't think you are.
That is
Anyway.
definitely not how I make my money. Yep.
Anyway, what are you gonna teach them today?
Well, social media is a lot of systems. Actually, yes, it's mindset. Yes, you have to have the foundation, like your name, right, and your photos and all of that stuff. But it's really a lot of different systems that we use. So I'm kind of just going to fly through. I think I have like 100 slides. So yes, I'll be talking to you guys for at least an hour and a half to get through everything, pretty much everything that I mentioned. I have a QR code for it. So you guys can download it straight from there. So you know exactly which software or what we are talking about. And really, I'm an open book, so I'll share my story a little bit so you can understand the full picture of how did the whole GoGo thing came about and what systems we use. And I'm an open book, so you guys can ask me. I can do a quick Q&A at the end if you would like me to do that, or as we are going on and I'm on a certain slide and you want to know more about that specific slide, as Toby said it, please put it in the Q&A section. And then what would be the best way? Is there a way for Lindsay to let me know when there's a question directly for me? Because most of the time my team can answer it, but if I need to answer it, is there a way for her to let me know?
Yeah, of course, she could just let you know in the chat, hey, there's a question that she wants you to answer, or she could unmute and herself and say, hey, GoGo, there's a question. Or if she wants me to do it, I could always interrupt you. I
Yeah,
don't.
if one of you can unmute, that would be great. That way I don't have to keep my eyes on the chat, right? I'm
Oh,
assuming everybody's taking care of the chat, like my team in the background. And
yep.
then that way, if I need to answer something,
And just so you guys realize, there's hundreds of people on right now, which is great. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 support staff there for you. So, like, there's people, if you have questions, they'll ask. Somebody's being mean. They said, do I still have a MySpace account? This is, can I tell you a story? This is completely so hilarious. Years ago, this was probably 1998. I had a client who was doing very well, and he wanted his son to learn a business. And so he brought his son in to talk to me in Seattle, Washington, is where I had our first account. And the kid was, how do I say it? He was a bit of a skater, and he kind of talked like this, man. Hey, and I always think of Fast Times at Ridgemont High, as if you guys have ever seen that. That just aged myself, but he was a bit like the main character there. So I was like, oh man, is this guy like this guy's going to run a business? So his dad said, I really want him to learn how to run a business. The only way you learn how to run a business is by doing it. And by the way, the only way you learn how to do social media is by doing it. You have to do it. So this kid has a couple of his buddies, and they say, yeah, they really want to start a business. So I set up a company for them, and their dad was like, "Hey, Spicoli, yep, Spicoli. That's exactly right. They got that Goga. Have you ever seen Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
no.
See, now you're gonna have to. Now you're gonna have to. But you'll know what I mean. So I'm sitting in here with these kids, and we set up a business, and we said we'd meet on a quarterly basis. I'm a young attorney. I knew enough to get myself in trouble in business. I had a really great mentor, but I was always like, okay, it was Sean Penn. Yeah. It was like one of these things where I was like, man, they're going to crash and burn. There's no way. About 3 months later, they come in and I said, how's your business going? What are you guys doing? And they said, we're finding images on the internet and we're putting it on our website. And I was like, okay, that's great, but how are you making money? And he goes, oh, they were like, and I was like, okay, we have to monetize it. And this is the late 90s. Google really wasn't a thing yet. They'd started, but you could sell advertising on Yahoo. And I said, well, if you have people coming to your site to get these images, maybe you could sell banner ads. And they said, okay, it's a good idea, man. Yeah, we'll try that. They come back 3 months later and they're making, I think it was $17,000 a month on banner ads. And I was like, what? Yeah.
You
So
just take your own idea, huh?
they were doing what's the precursor to emojis. And they just had a site where everybody could go pick them. So like now we have the reactions, you get the thumbs up. Those didn't exist back then. So you could go to their site and you could get a thumbs up and put it in your email or whatever else. It's funny though. So they ended up being a top 5,000 site in the world. Everybody was going to their site, and MySpace comes along and wants the traffic. So it was a seven-figure purchase within a couple of years. These kids put together something that was a brain fart, right? They got together and they built this thing and we sold it. And I'm still like in disbelief. I was like, why did I go to law school? Like they just made more than I've made in my entire life with an idea like these. It was these kids. That's all I could do. I was like sitting there going, are you kidding me? They just sold this thing for that much money. That was in the 90s. And it was MySpace that bought them. And I still crack up about that to this very day. I'm like,
I never had a MySpace account because I came to the US in 2011, 2003, and Romania didn't have MySpace. So by the time I got to the US, it kind of was on its way out. So
give me a thumbs up if you've had a MySpace account. Let's just see how many people out there. There's gonna be like 3 thumbs. No, it looks like there's a whole bunch.
that tells you what generation they fall into, huh?
Yeah. We love you guys, right? And here's the thing.
I fall into that generation. I just come from the other end of the world where MySpace didn't make it there. Yeah.
What did you guys have in Romania?
Nothing at the time. I don't think we had anything like that.
Smoke signals.
Yeah, exactly.
Smoke
If you
signal
like
phones.
someone, you walked up to them and you told them.
All right. I need to get out of your hair, GoGo, and let you teach these folks. Somebody says, when will you begin with the program? Here we go. I'm going to
Okay,
get out of
there
you
we go,
guys'
guys.
hair.
No more MySpace. There
No
we go.
more. And you guys are going to learn practical things. Listen to GoGo. She knows what she's talking about, guys.
Thank you, thank you. Can I have the right to share my screen? And oh, there it is. Okay. Let me move some of these, put it on present mode. Okay. How are you guys? Thank you so much for having me here today. I'm super honored to be here today because I have been an Anderson Advisor client. I still am, probably will be for the rest of my life. They do an amazing job, and I'm super honored to be here and share my knowledge about myself and what I have learned about social media in the last few years. So let's get started. You guys ready for the madness? So let me tell you a little bit about myself. So my real name is Bethke. Good luck pronouncing that or building a business, especially in sales in the US, right? So when I came to the US in 2003, I did all kinds of odd jobs. I stayed as a stay-at-home mom for quite a while. And then in 2011, I got my real estate license. And then in 2011, I was like, okay, so who is going to buy a house from me or sell a house with me, right? I didn't know anyone. So by the time I came to the US in 2003, guys, I was already 21 years old. So I didn't have a college friend. I didn't have a cousin. I didn't have anyone that was related to me in any way or anyone that I even known. I barely spoke the language, right? So then when I realized, I'm like, okay, well, who's going to buy a house from me? I also had to put in the work of like, okay, I have to work with strangers. Like I don't actually know people and people don't know me. So then I was like, okay, where are strangers? Where can I find strangers in massive amounts, not the one-on-one conversations in a coffee shop, right? And I was like, okay, Facebook. So I was probably the first one in Livingston County, Michigan, who started a business page, which I called GoGo's Real Estate. And that's how the madness started. So some of you asked in the chat how you can find me. You can find me anywhere under GoGo's Real Estate or GoGo Bethke. As we evolve today, I own 9 different companies. Toby gets to, Toby and his team get to help me grow it all and protect it all, right? We actually had a great conversation with Toby of one of our contracts that we need to submit to someone. So I absolutely love their company. I wouldn't be here if I didn't. So we decided to do a social media. I tried to build it from the grounds up. Now I want you guys to realize that today I'm 13 years in, right? So what I know today, which comes super easy to me, might be like Chinese to you. If I'm talking Chinese to you, I want you to put your question into the Q&A section because I don't know what you don't know. So in order for me to answer it on your level, I need to understand what your question is on that level, because I passed that 13 years ago, 10 years ago, or 9 years ago, depending how far you are in your social media game. Sounds good? Actually, social media is a job. So let's play this so I can understand who's in the audience. By the way, 444 is my favorite number. If you know what angel numbers are, there's 444 people in the audience right now. So God is telling me I'm in the right place, the right time, with the right people, doing the right things. I'm super excited. So in the chat, would you please tell me what you actually do for a living? Just so I can kind of understand how to structure when I'm talking to you. Most of the time when I speak, I speak to entrepreneurs or I speak to realtors, right? So if you would put of how you actually make money into the chat so I can understand real estate, government, marketing. Ooh, you guys are fast. Real estate coach, director, financial real estate. So a lot of you in real estate. Okay, wow. I wish I could read that fast. Okay, I saw government, I saw IT work. So there are certain things though. So I'm going to start with the government right there. Most of you can pretty much do whatever you want. It's a free country. You can speak your mind. Now, some platforms might not like it and shut your account down, but that's a whole other conversation, right? Government work though, you pretty much limited. In a financial world, like if you're a banker or things like that, what you can say and when you can say it, you're limited. So what I mean by this is I want you to take everything I'm saying and implement it into your line of work with whatever you're allowed to do. There are certain things that I can do as an individual or I can do in real estate that you would not be allowed to do in the government line of work, right? So if that's the case, take whatever applies, apply it, and the rest, hopefully Toby's team can protect you with that. So this is my legal disclaimer. I don't know what I'm talking about. It might not apply in your line of work. Take the best of it. Make sure it's legal in your line of work. So number one, we're going to start with the fundamentals. So I'm going to take you from like daycare all the way to a PhD today when it comes to social media and the different systems and technologies we use. So we're going to start at the ground up. So we're going to start at the fundamentals. If you already have a social media game, then this is not going to be super important to you, but you might have still some takeaways. So let's talk about a headshot. You need to choose a photo for all of your brands that looks like you and is the best photo you have ever taken. And then you're going to take about 46 of those, and then you're going to find the best, and then you're going to put it through 17 apps. And here are 2 apps, and I absolutely love using. You might want to write this down. If you're a guy, do not write down Perfect 365 because you are going to end up with some makeup on your face. So ladies, Perfect 365 is the app where I edit my pictures. Like sometimes I look super tired, but it's a great photo. I just look tired. If that's the case, I'll just put it through Perfect 365 and edit it super quick. I look like sometimes I don't even have makeup on. And when I'm done with Perfect 365, I literally have full blown makeup on my face. So that is for ladies. For gentlemen and ladies all together, especially if you're taking a photo from far away or so, I use Darkroom. So these are the 2 apps, Perfect 365 and Darkroom. And hopefully my team can put these 2 in the chat for you guys to edit my photos. So now when you have a headshot, I want you to use that headshot absolutely everywhere. I want you guys to put it into the chat so it nails it into your head. Where do I want you to use it? I want you to use it as your profile photo on every single social media platform that you have. I want you to have it on your yard signs. I want you to have it in your email signature. I want you to have it on your own.com. I want you to have it everywhere until everybody can recognize you. They know your name. They know what you do. Because if they know your name and they can recognize you and they know what you do, they can find you on Google. Okay, so what we are trying to achieve with when it comes to social media is to be recognizable. As long as I can tell people who I am, which is GoGo or GoGo Bethke, what I do, which is realtor or entrepreneur today, right? And social media, they call me the social media queen of real estate, then they can find me. So when it comes to the headshot, you're going to take one photo. It's going to be the best photo you ever taken. You're going to put it through 17 apps. And when you're ready, you're going to put it where? I want you guys to put it in the chat box. Everywhere. Good job. That's exactly. So I don't want, if I go to your.com and then I go to your Instagram and then I go to your LinkedIn, I don't want to see a different photo. You want to be able to build brand recognition, and that comes through face recognition. So if I ask you this, close your eyes. Did you close your eyes? Okay. Now imagine the Home Depot logo. Can you see it? If I said Starbucks, can you see it? If I said Target, can you see it? If I said Best Buy, can you see it? That's brand recognition. The reason why you can see that is because Best Buy looks exactly the freaking same in Alabama than it does in Kentucky, right? So that's what you want to achieve. If someone Googles you and they go to your LinkedIn or they go to your .com or they go to your Facebook or your Instagram, your TikTok or YouTube or whatever, they need to be certain that they are on the same page. In order for them to be certain, your image has to be the same on every single profile. Make sense? Next one is the brand name. So it's not just the image, it's the brand, it's the image with the brand that they need to recognize, right? So I started my brand. Today I own 9 different companies. So some of them I listed right here. GoGo's Real Estate is my first one. That's how I started the madness. I started GoGo's Real Estate on Facebook and GoGo's Real Estate on Instagram. And that's how the madness started. Over time, as one person can do many things, I became GoGo Bethke. I also own GoGo Bethke, GoGoBethke.com, all of the GoGo Bethke things, right? The next thing that I started is GoGoPreneur, which is my podcast, TV show / radio show. So we are live on TV, on podcast, and on radio under the GoGoPreneur brand. We went live last Wednesday and became #7 in Romania while I was touring, which is super exciting. On the GoGoPreneur show, I do everything entrepreneurial. So I interview people who've been where I want to go, super smart people. You are welcome to come and listen in. I would love to have you. So when it comes to the brand, right, you want to have the image with the name, and you want to make sure that people can recognize you and they are certain that they are on your brand. The next one is don't spend time on logos, guys. So you remember when I closed your eyes and I made you imagine the Best Buys and the Starbucks and the Targets? The reason why they have to use logos because they're not a personal brand. So if you're a personal brand, your brand is your image and your name. If you are a business brand like a Best Buy or a Target or a Starbucks, then yes, you can use a logo. Other than that, do not even spend time on a logo. I never use it. I don't need to. People are never going to recognize me with a logo. Any questions on this slide? Please put it into the chat or the Q&A section. My team will be answering it. And if they cannot answer it, if it's a specific question to me, they're going to let me know. Okay, so here is, so you can see it visually, okay? So on the left-hand side, that is my YouTube, I'm pretty sure. You see this image? So that's my YouTube logo. So said my, what is it called? I can't think of it. My image, whatever. Thank you. And then this is my Instagram. This is my Facebook. And this is my YouTube. Can you recognize, are you certain that this is the same brand when you end up on these pages? Right? There are some versions. So in some pages, I'm GoGo Bethke, and some pages I'm GoGo's Real Estate. But most of the time, you can put both together because the image is the same. Okay, the next thing that you need to do to look official is not only that. So first of all, let me ask you this. Do you own your name? So if your brand, but make sure you answer this question crystal clear. So let me ask it first and then put it into the chat box. So for example, let's start with GoGo's Real Estate. Do you own your GoGo's Real Estate on Instagram, your GoGo's Real Estate on Facebook, your GoGo's Real Estate.com, your GoGo's Real Estate on YouTube? If the answer is yes, I want you to put it into a chat box. Don't put a no. I don't want to know the no's. I want to know the yeses. Meaning that you have the same exact brand everywhere, on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on TikTok, on your own .com. Like the same exact. So for example, I have GoGo Bethke on Instagram, GoGo Bethke on Facebook, GoGoBethke.com, GoGo Bethke on YouTube. I have I have all of the brands everywhere, the brands that I own, everywhere I own the same exact format. So number one, when you decide to create a brand, number one, what is your brand? Here are the 2 platforms where you have to go to make sure it's available. So I saw very little yeses. So there's 462 people in the room and there's like maybe 20, 30 yeses, which tells me all of you are going to have to go home and make sure that your brand is available. And then you're going to have to get your .com. You're going to have to get it on Instagram. Now, if it doesn't exist, so these are the 2 platforms that you have to make sure that you can block the name before you come up with the great idea. So I actually had to fight for GoGoPreneur, even though I owned every single version of GoGoPreneur Instagram, GoGoPreneur TV show, GoGoPreneur.com. I owned all of it. I still had someone fight me when I filed for a trademark. I won, thanks to Toby's team, right? But still, you have to make sure that you own it all, so you own your brand. So these 2 platforms that you have to check on, number one is Instagram, and the second one is your .com. So on Instagram, why? Because on Instagram, there can only be one GoGo Bethke. There can only be one GoGo's Real Estate. There can only be one GoGopreneur. You cannot have two GoGopreneurs. On Facebook, you can. On Instagram, you cannot. Okay, on Facebook, you can have a million GoGo Bethkes. On Instagram, if the handle is taken, it's taken. So then the question is, do you change your brand? Or do you play with it like the GoGo Bethke, the real GoGo Bethke? You know what I mean? Like you have to play with that. Ideally, you want to own your name. Clear without the "the" or without the real or without any of that. The second place where you have to check is your .com. And usually I buy my .coms on GoDaddy. So that's where I would go. If I come up or when I come up with an idea, I go to these two places first. I think of what is my brand going to be named. Then I go to GoDaddy to make sure the .com is available and I buy it right away, even before I need it. I buy it because you're going to need it. And then the second place I go is Instagram, and then I block that name, make sure it's available. If it's not available, you have to play along with it a little bit until you find something that's available everywhere. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all of that, including your .com. The next thing, after you have your .com, so your gogobethke.com, right? Now you're going to have, or gogosrealestate.com. Now you're going to have official email addresses. You want to look official. So for example, if I was gogosrealestate.com, right? And my email would be your favorite realtor@gmail.com. What? Like you wouldn't take me seriously, right? I'm not running a business at that point. So when you have your .com, the next step you want to do is create your matching email address with an email signature. What's important in an email signature? Nothing pisses me off more than when a link is not clickable. Nobody is going to go out of the email to go to Google, to Google your name, to go to your .com, to go to the bottom of it, to find a contact us button, to click the link, to call you, copy and paste into their phone. Never going to happen. So everything that you do here, it has to be clickable. Now, I don't know if you noticed that I don't have a phone number on here. Now, if you are a smaller business and you can afford to put your phone number out here, your personal cell phone number, I strongly recommend that you have it on here and you have it clickable. So as someone's reading your email and they want to talk to you very quick, they just click it and they dial right from their phone. Make it super simple for them to have direct access to you and everything that you do. The reason why I no longer have my cell phone number out there is because I reach millions of people every single month. I just can't anymore, guys. I cannot have weirdos calling me. I cannot just, hey, GoGo, I have a quick question. I can't do that because if I did that, I wouldn't have a life. So I have to respect the life that I have and the time that I have with my family and my friends. So because of that, no one has direct access to me. I do not disclose my cell phone number anywhere. But if you feel comfortable with that, I would definitely put it in there. I had it in here for a very long time when I was still personally selling real estate. I absolutely had my cell phone number clickable. Most important, clickable. Now my team, if I can ask you guys to take this Canva tutorial link and put it in here. There's a tutorial that my team found for you guys, how to set up your email signature through Canva. You guys can just watch it and go in there and set up your own email signature. Okay, any questions on here, please put it into the chat. My team will answer it. People do business with people, so your brand needs to be built around you. You have to be in the videos and the pictures a minimum of 80% of the time. So if you go to any of my profiles, you are going to see me all the time. So probably more than 80% of the time. I would say 80% is the minimum. If you look at my picture, so think of it this way. If you go to like Tony Robbins or Grant Cardone's profile, what do you see? Do you see Grant Cardone's the buildings that he's investing in, or do you see Grant Cardone every time? You see Grant Cardone every time. So even though I sell a lot of different products and services, I don't sell the product, I sell GoGo. They end up working with one of my businesses or one of my services that my team and I provide, right? But still, it's me pitching that service or pitching that product. So minimum of 80% of the time, you have to be on camera. Okay, let's play a little bit. Let's see how many people feel absolutely like you have the twitch when I say that you have to go on camera. Say yes if you have the twitch from the idea that you're going to have to go on camera. Look at the numbers going up. Absolutely love it. Guess why? I do this test all the time. There's a lot of people that get stopped because they don't feel comfortable getting on camera. So my question to you, when they say, yeah, GoGo, but that's hard. You know what's harder? Being broke. Being broke is way harder than getting on camera. So get comfortable. If you're not comfortable being on camera because you don't like the way you look and sound, guess what? That's what you look and sound. Everybody that knows you in real life, they know that's what you look and sound. So the only difference are these strangers on the internet. What do you care what they think? That's what you look and sound. So the faster you can get good with the idea of getting on camera, the faster you're going to print money when it comes to social media. So 80, I would say 90% of the time, you are going to be in the picture, you are going to be in the video. Okay. So let's talk about ChatGPT. Many of the slides that I'm going to share with you guys actually have a scannable QR code. So if you're not using ChatGPT yet, this is where you can download it. We use ChatGPT in multiple different ways. ChatGPT is amazing and scary at the same time. I am not scared of AI. AI is not here to take my job, but another agent who uses AI can potentially take my job. So I love technology. We'll study technology. We use technology, and ChatGPT is going to be your best friend. So if you're not using it yet, here are some of the ways that we are using it. We created a voice that's called GoGo's voice, and it's crazy, guys. My team writes the emails and the descriptions for posts and blogs and all of those things. And when I read these emails, I'm like, if I had to put my hand on the Bible in a courthouse, I probably couldn't tell if I wrote the email or if I didn't. So you can actually teach ChatGPT of who you are. ChatGPT can study you and it can learn your voice. So now my team, when they create content, even though I am not the one who's creating the content anymore, they are. I still create some, but they create most, right? It still sounds like me. The reason why it's super important in order to grow when it comes to social media, because you can find me everywhere. I'm on TikTok, I'm on YouTube, I'm on LinkedIn, you name it, I'm everywhere, right? I own one of the largest Facebook groups that's called REC USA, Real Estate Community USA. You guys are welcome to join it, over 500,000 members. All of these have to sound like me. If not, we lose the audience because it's not my brand anymore, right? So it's super important to use ChatGPT for that. Today, we were on a coaching call with a SEO optimization company, and they pretty much recommended to say like, hey, ChatGPT, I'm building a website. Here's the product. Here's my target audience. What do you think they need? And what words do you think I need to have on my website to sound, to make sure that we show up in the SEO optimization? So ChatGPT is super smart. You can literally use it as like to give you advice, to study other people, to tell you what to do, what to say, how to say it, what words to use, all kinds of different ways. But one of the best ways to set it up, to start sounding like you, is to ask ChatGPT to ask you 20 questions about you to be able to understand your communication style. And the next one is be specific in your prompt and give ChatGPT as much information as you can, right? So for example, I would start with the 20 questions, say, hey, ChatGPT, I want you to get to know me. So I want you to ask me 20 questions so I can answer them to you so you can understand who I am, what I do, so that in the future, you can help me with writing these things, right? So ChatGPT is going to start asking you questions. You're going to start responding. So when you respond, based from your response, ChatGPT will learn your style, your communication style. And then you can say, hey, I want you to name this my channel, GoGo's Voice. And from now on, I want you to write exactly how I would. Sometimes it forgets, so you have to remind it. You might have to play this game a couple of times over, like every quarter or so, so it stays on track. But most of the time, it does a phenomenal job. And when it comes to giving what's the word, prompts to, mind you guys, English is my third language, and I was just in Eastern Europe the last 14 days. So I spoke Hungarian and Romanian the last 14 days. My brain is still trying to figure out what's going on. So when you're giving prompts to ChatGPT, you have to be super specific. So sometimes I say, hey, ChatGPT, you use too many fluff words, too many emojis. I don't want you to use any of that. And I want you to put a little sass into it, right? And then it's like, oh, okay, hold on. And then it rewrites it for you. Use ChatGPT to put stuff on your website, to create posts, to create blog posts, to write emails. Anything that requires writing, it's amazing for it. And there's a scan for it. If you have any questions, please put in the chat box. My team will answer it. Now that you have your brand name, and you need to set up that same brand everywhere. So you remember what was the two most important platforms? Instagram and your .com. Because everywhere else, you can have two GoGo Bethkes. Like on Facebook, you can have a million of them, right? Okay, so number one, create your domain. And for that, I use GoDaddy. So every time I get an idea, I go on GoDaddy.com. There's a search bar that's going to pop up. If you scan these as I'm talking about them, just keep it open on your computer. You can go back to it later. On GoDaddy, I'll just go on there. There's a bar on top. And let's say you came up with the idea of shoes for puppies, right? So you're going to go on there, you're going to put in shoes for puppies, and then you're going to search if the .com is available. If the .com is available, you're going to purchase it right there. Most .coms cost like $11, guys. It's not, I own so many .coms, I can't even tell you. Here is a tip from one mom or one parent, I should say, to another. If you have children, go on GoDaddy and buy their name.com right now, because you don't know who's going to be the next football player, the next opera singer, the next Warren Buffett, right? So you want to own your name.com. And so my children, I owned their name a long time ago. On their 18th birthday, I'm going to give it to them. So they can then build whatever business, whatever brand they decide that they want to do. Also, when my children come up with a great idea, I buy that.com. My child came up with an idea, I think it's called Beast Foods or something like that. It literally worth thousands and thousands of dollars right now. He could sell that and go to college, even though he told me he's not going to go to college. I was like, what do you mean you're not going to go to college? He goes, you didn't go, look at you. I was like, oh, I can't really have that conversation, right? So I didn't have a comeback on that one. But these are just some private tips with your .com. Go to GoDaddy. That's where you can purchase it. The next one you must have is Google My Business. So people going to Google you, they're going to Google your business. If you're not an option on Google, you don't exist. If you're going to turn into a dinosaur in the business world, you cannot have that happen. Even if you're a licensed realtor, you should have an official business like a GoGo's Real Estate, right? Like mine. So next step would be Google My Business. You can go scan this thing. It's going to take you Google My Business to set it up. The next one would be Instagram. On Instagram, two things that are super important that I want you to pay attention to after you created your account. So when you have your brand.com is, are you going to be a business account or a creator account? Just go Google the difference between the two. It's really not a big difference. I'm actually a creator account just because I like to add music to my story videos, and on a business account, I did not have access to music on Instagram. Really, that's the only difference. Other than that, you can have the algorithm, you can have the background, you can run ads, you can see everything that's happening in the background. So you run it as a business. If you don't take your business seriously and run it as a business, you don't have a business. People are not going to take you seriously. So now the third one would be Instagram, and the last one would be Facebook. In order to have a business profile on Facebook, first you have to have a personal profile. So if you don't have a personal Facebook profile, please tell me you do. Everybody and your grandmother has a Facebook profile, right? What you're going to do is you're going to go in there. You can scan this, and it's going to walk you through how to create a business page. And then most importantly, you need to link those pages together. So I am going to pause this for a second if I can figure out how. Okay, so the next one, Christy, my left hand, technically she's my right hand, but because she's left-handed, she is going to explain something because she couldn't be here today. Yep. Okay, so let's see if I can hit play on here and let me know if you guys can hear it.
You're literally just going to get started. You're going to click the blue button to get started. Now, remember, this is it's not free. This you actually have to pay. I think the cheapest one is $6 a month. Maybe it's $7 a month now. I can't remember exactly, but we'll get to that point. What's nice is for the first 2 weeks, it's completely free. So get started. You're going to start typing in your business name. So I'm going to do Agent Christy because it's a domain that I actually have. Number of employees, including you, that you're going to give email addresses to. Just me, United States, the region I live in, and just click the next button.
So let me explain super quick the importance of what she's showing you here. After you created Google My Business, you're going to be able to create the email addresses for your team off of your official business, right? So my assistant is assistant at gogosrealestate.com. Christy is Christy at gogosrealestate.com. We have Said at gogosrealestate.com, right? So everyone that's working for you, when they communicate on your behalf, they're communicating from an official email address, right? So everybody knows that they work for you, they represent you, they feel more secure having that conversation with someone on your behalf. So Christy's showing you how to actually set this up super quick. The recording is going to be sent to everyone who's here today. So pretty much I just want you to watch it. You don't have to take notes right now. It's 5 minutes long. And then after you get the recording, you can literally come back, pause, set it up, pause, set it up, pause, set it up.
What's my contact info? How do you want to set up a Google Workspace? With your company at .com address, so your domain, or with the Gmail. We'll unlock Google Workspace features just for you using the current email. That's new. I didn't know that was even a thing. So let's see. I guess we could check the differences. You use a custom email, extend and engage video calls, shared calendars, add users to your subscriptions, more storage for every user added, and security and management controls, as opposed to just a Gmail. Continue with the gmail.com address, extend and engaging video calls, 1 terabyte of secure cloud storage, easy appointment scheduling, professional email campaigns. I'm going to stick with the first one, yourcompany.com address, because it's all about branding, right? Select. Does your business have a domain? Yes, I have one. If you've already purchased a domain on like GoDaddy or Google Domains, then you choose yes. If you do not, you would choose no. We're going to choose yes. My domain, agentchristy.com. Use this domain, yes. Now it says how you'll sign in. So what do I want my email address to be? So it could be Christy@agentchristy.com, admin@agentchristy.com. Doesn't matter what it is, but whatever it is, you can change it later on. You can rename it. Create a password. I am not a robot. Agree and continue. And that is it. So, of course, it defaults to the most expensive, or one of the more expensive ones. Sorry, I was reading flexible at the same time. I'm going to, right off the bat, I'm going to choose change payment plan because I don't want to accidentally forget and have to pay a lot of money. So, flexible spending, no long-term commitments, price billed monthly, annual plan. What is going on? Why is this so expensive? How do I downgrade my accounts? Okay, so it just leaves you here. This is what happened last time. Okay, so you're gonna have to just leave it. You have a Google account. We have to click try free for 14 days. It's going to give you the middle plan. It automatically sets you up on the middle plan. And then once you're set, like once you log in, you need to go back and downgrade. It's done this for a little while. There's no way to just sign up for the absolute base cheapest plan unless you go through the prompts. Or like you actually have to sign up and then do it. So now it's just asking for my payment information. Once you do that, you're set up. You're going to click agree and continue and you are good to go. So I am just going to leave it at that so that I don't share my payment information with everybody. I hope this helps. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out anytime you need to. I'm always here for you guys. Thank you. Bye.
So that's my Christy. Now everything that, can you guys hear me by the way? Are we good? Hopefully. Yeah. Yes, awesome, thank you. So everything that I do, I am not detail oriented. Have you guys taken a DISC assessment? If you have, I'm a high DNI, as non-existency. So that means I need people in my life who are super detail oriented. I dream big, I know where we are going, I could care less how we're gonna get there. This is why I wanted Christy here, so to show you guys how to actually set up the brand specific emails, because it's super important when it comes to trust, for people to trust to working with you and your team. Okay, next thing that's super important is linking your accounts together. So when you create your Facebook brand, so you create your GoGo's Real Estate on Facebook, you create your GoGo's Real Estate on Instagram, I want you to link them together. Why? Because I post on Instagram and it automatically posts on Facebook. I don't have to do the work twice. It's, what did I say? 2 birds, 1 stone. The other way you can also do it, you can, if you prefer to post on Facebook first, that's fine. Link it together with your Instagram, and it's going to post right over to Instagram as well. So you post one time, feeds it to two different platforms. And there's a tutorial how to set up, how to link your two accounts together by scanning this code right here. Okay, the next one is the Facebook Meta business. As you guys saw it, some of my assistants are on the call here today. I have 17 assistants, a lot of them. I do need all of them, and I do need all the help that they provide. I couldn't do what I do here today without my amazing team. They're absolutely phenomenal. With that being said, you cannot give passwords to your team. So in order to allow people to be able to help you manage these different platforms, you have to create like a business account. Like think of it as a Facebook Meta business, it's called today. So you are going to create your Meta business suite, and within the suite, you're going to give access to your Facebook, to your Instagram, and then you're going to assign said job duties. Are they editors? Are they admins? Are they owners of the account? You never want to make anyone an owner besides yourself. The reason why, because then they have the right to just delete your account. One day you wake up and poof, it's not there. You do not want that to happen. So never, ever, ever give your Facebook password or your Instagram password or your LinkedIn password or any of those out to people that work for you. You're going to go and create a Meta Business Suite. And through Meta Business Suite, you're going to give their access. What I want you to do when you're given access is I want you to read that specific access, like an editor. They can edit, they cannot delete. They can comment, they cannot delete. They can, send a DM or things like that. So I want you to read the editor versus admin versus owner so you can feel comfortable of what specific management access you want to give to the people who have access to your account. Never, ever the password. Pinky, promise me? Never, ever the password. Okay. Let's study a little bit the different social media platforms and see where you fit in. It is super important, guys. So for example, I am not your typical realtor. You are going to see me in my bathing suit top, not half naked, but I am European. I was born naked, excuse my French, right? So if I did the way I run business on LinkedIn, it's never going to work. I can totally do that on Instagram. Totally fine to have your tadas hanging out on Instagram. They cannot hang out on LinkedIn. So that what I want you to research is where do you fit in? And do you want to exist on that platform? So if you don't fit in, do you want to exist on that platform or do you want to adjust your style a little bit? So for example, if let's say I'm poolside with a mimosa talking about financial freedom, I can totally do that on Instagram. I'm probably not going to take that same photo and the same content and put it on LinkedIn because it just doesn't fit. So think of it this way. On LinkedIn, have you ever had a real job, as I call it, when there was an HR department, right? So I imagine LinkedIn that if you had an HR department, would they approve of your outfit? If HR would say, what the heck is wrong with you? Don't post it on LinkedIn. Now, Facebook is kind of in the middle. And Facebook, you can kind of be yourself, but kind of be yourself. So not as open as Instagram is. And I think the difference is the generational difference, the age difference, the income difference. So on LinkedIn, for example, you're going to find a bunch of professional people in their corporate America job. It just doesn't fit. On Facebook, you're going to find everybody and your grandmother. So it just doesn't fit. On Instagram, you're going to find a younger generation. They don't care. So study these different platforms and the different websites and see where you fit in and try to fit in, because if not, it's just awkward. The next one, video. Through video, people really get to know you. When they know you, they trust you. When they trust you, they buy anything that you are selling. So for example, I have people, so I'm going to use my Team GoGo organization. So I'm with a brokerage called EXP, and within EXP, I can actually build an organization so agents can join me, right? And we can do real estate business together. So with that being said, I have agents who join me just because they found out that I'm a foreigner, that I'm an immigrant. I have agents who join me because they are Romanian and I'm from Romania, even though I'm Hungarian by nationality, I speak both, right? I have people who join me because my oldest son is type 1 diabetic and they have a son who's type 1 diabetic, or they are type 1 diabetic, right? I have people that join me because they love bulldogs and I love bulldogs. I have a bulldog. And by the way, Toby has the cutest cats you'll ever see. And I hate cats. Sorry, Toby. I really did like cats, but when I saw Toby's cats, I wanted to get 2 cats. They are adorable, but I love bulldogs. So people who love bulldogs, they know I love bulldogs. So now we do business together because we have something in common. When you do video and you allow people to get to know you, As soon as they find something in common with you, they will be your friends forever. They will be your social media buddies. And whatever you are selling over time, if it applies to what they are doing, they're going to buy it. So get comfortable on camera. When it comes to videos, there's a short version for a video and a long version for a video, and they fit differently on social media or on websites. So let's break them down. Okay, short videos are like Reels or TikToks. They are usually less than 1.5 minutes long. They are always vertical, not horizontal, vertical. And you can put them into Reels. You can run ads and promotions. You know, anything you can think of that fits into a vertical, like a story format or a Reel format or a TikTok format. That's what's considered short videos or short form, and they are usually 1.5 minutes or less. Now, people in average, guys, this is insane, used to spend prior to COVID 4 hours in average on social media, and during COVID they spent 17 hours on social media. And now, since people work from home and there's not so much of a, you know, breathing down your shoulder management style work, they still spend not as much as 17 hours a day, but way more than 4 hours a day. And they have an attention span of a goldfish, where in the past, prior to TikTok, people would easily watch a 3-minute video. Since the TikToks and the Reels came into the picture, you kind of lose them over 30 seconds. So really what you want to do, especially if you're promoting something, you have to get to the point in the first 15 seconds. That's really before they start, you know, swiping over to the next video. The long video format, those are the horizontal ones. The horizontal ones are when you're creating content for the YouTube styles or websites, somewhere where a video is going to be embedded. If it's going to be embedded into a website, for example, you do not want to have it vertical because it's going to be that weird little strip in the middle. It would look awkward on a website. So if you are creating long format, it has to be horizontal. It's going to go on YouTube or it's going to go on a website. These are the styles like tutorials, educational, extensive topic, things that you cannot possibly get to the point in 1.5 minutes. Does that make sense? That's long video. Here we go. People watch 17 hours of video per week. Oh, there we go. I just spit. Sorry about that. And they used to watch 2.5 minutes prior to 2004, and now their attention span is at 47 seconds or less. But if you really want to get to the point, especially in an ad, you have to get to the point in the first 15 seconds or they're going to swipe. Okay, let's talk about vertical versus horizontal. I kind of explained this already, but let's go through it. Vertical would be the TikToks, the Reels, the YouTube Shorts. Horizontal would be YouTube, the actual long format video built into your website, and any type of streaming. Reminder for your posts. Okay, so when you're posting something, do you want me to teach you how to do a post super quick on Instagram? To actually walk through each of these tabs? Okay, let's do it. So grab your phone, go to Instagram. And when you have your Instagram open, you're going to be on a page like this. You're going to swipe to the right. It's going to bring you right into your stories. Okay. We're just going to take a photo for this time. In the bottom, you're going to see these 2 little arrows. Switch that on a selfie mode so you can take a picture of yourself. So I'm going to take a picture of myself super quick. And then we're going to go through all of the filters that you can use and you should use, not filters, tags. So number 1, you always want to tag location. So for example, let's say you go out to dinner with a client, you should tag the client, but you should also tag the restaurant. Why? Because the restaurant is going to share it, the client's going to share it, right? The other thing you want to tag is location. Some people don't follow people, they follow location. So they might follow what's going on in Tampa. If they follow what's going on in Tampa and you just tag Tampa, guess who's going to show up in their feed? You will. So you always want to tag location. In order to do that, now that you took your photo, so I just took a photo of myself, I'm going to swipe up. You're going to get all of these different features. Okay. One of the features is called location. You're going to tap that. My GPS location is turned off. So I'm going to search for Tampa. I found Tampa. I put it on the screen. So when you get it originally, this is going to be in the middle of the screen. So it's going to look like that. I don't want it over my face. So I'm going to drag it down to like the bottom right. You can also change the color of it by tapping it. So my fat fingers, so I made it transparent right there. Okay, so that's tagging location. The next one is always use a hashtag. So for example, let's say right now I'm doing a social media training, right? I'm going to swipe up again. I'm going to get all of those features. I'm going to look for hashtag. When I find a hashtag, I'm going to put in, where's my hashtags on here? Where are you? hashtags. Where are you? Seriously, right here. Okay, found it. I'm going to put in social media marketing training. So now what did I just do? What I just did, so I put social media marketing training. It was in the middle of the screen. I moved it down here. It's a hashtag, which means people follow hashtags. The people who follow social media marketing training, now they're going to see my post because I tagged it. I assigned it to a word. People can follow a word or a subject, right? And then they're going to see it. The next one is tag people. Who am I with? I'm with Anderson Advisors. So I'm going to swipe up again. I'm going to go mention. I'm going to mention Anderson Advisors. Okay. The next one is share others' posts and comment on other posts. I'm going to explain that in a second. So now that all of this is done, I'm going to post it. And then I want you guys to go into GoGo's Real Estate super quick on Instagram. Click my profile photo, and you're going to see the post that we just created together. What did I do? I tagged location. I tagged hashtags, and I tagged the people I am with. So now Anderson Advisor is going to get a notification. Hey, GoGo just tagged you, and she said she was with you, and they are going to share it. What does that do for me and my business? Now I'm in the business of eyeballs. So are you. The more people that know that you exist, the more people have a chance to work with you or buy your service or buy your product, right? So when you tag other people, they are going to get notified that you tagged them. They are going to share it. And when they share it, their people see what you posted. So you just generated eyeballs onto your own profile. And when you tag hashtags and locations, same thing. People can actually find you based on a hashtag or based on a location tag. Share other people's posts. I do it all the time. If I find something that's educational or inspirational, I go to the bottom little right that looks like a little triangle, click that button, share it. And then comment on other people's posts, because when you comment on others and you take the time of the day, the more they see your name, the more they get familiar with it, they're going to come and follow you. And then when you post something, they're going to comment. And the more comments you can have on a post and the more reactions like likes, hearts you can have on a post, the more the algorithm says, oh, this must be interesting, because look at all the people who are commenting. When that happens, they feed your post to other people as well. So you get even more exposure. The next one, consistency is where success lies. Guys, I started this madness in 2011. I post about 2 times into my feed and 15 to 25 times into my stories every single day. You remember when I said social media is a job? So if you cold call or if you door knock or whatever you do to generate the client, you run Facebook ads, right? Whatever you Google ads, whatever you do, social media works for you all the time, but it's a job. You have to work for it. I create content, right? So think of it this way. It might take me 5 minutes to create content today. You might watch it today. You might watch it a week from now. You might watch it 10 years from now. The content that took me 5 minutes works for me for the rest of my life, as long as I leave it on there. If I made a phone call as a cold call to tell someone what I do for a living, that would be a one-on-one conversation. Me taking 5 minutes out of my day and making a social media post, millions of people going to see it in a month. You can never make that many phone calls and still have a life. This is what social media allows you to do. But when you decide to do social media, just like anything else, nothing works unless you do. You have to do it consistently. So I have done it since 2011, consistency. So let's say I made 20 posts in average every single day. So we're going to take the 20 times 365 times 13 years. That's 94,900 posts that I have made in the last 13 years to have what I have today. So if you just post today and you're going to sit back and be like, where are my leads a month from today? You're starting at ground zero from a month from today, right? Instead, you have to build momentum. You do today, you do tomorrow, you do today, the day after that, the day after that. So people, they don't have a chance to forget me because they see me every day, right? Do they look at everything that I post? No. Do they read everything that I post? No. Do you think they watch every single video and every word out of my mouth? No. But you know what I am? An option. When they go to bed, when they wake up in the morning, because what do? We check our social media. Nobody has to ask you to go on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok today. You just do it automatically. Those platforms are really good at generating traffic. So your job is to steal that traffic over to your site or over to your social media profile. So what do? They go to bed and with one eye open, they cruise the internet. And they're like, oh, there's a GoGo chick again. Oh, she must have, oh, yep, she got another award. Oh, yep, she hired somebody. Oh, yep, she started another business. They don't even read most of the things, and I don't need them to. I just need them to remember that GoGo chick, because as soon as they want to buy real estate or join a brokerage or come on my podcast or everything that I do, they know exactly where to go. They can find me because they remember my name. So I'm in the business, and we are all in the business of letting people know who we are, what we do, and make sure they remember us. Okay, so real estate weekly schedule. So if you're in real estate, which many of you are, I'm going to tell you what is our weekly schedule to generate leads. Mondays, choose any listing to post. So anything. So maybe you specialize in startups with people who just moved out in mom and dad's basement. Maybe you specialize in larger homes, so people who are having babies. Maybe you specialize in downsized homes. Maybe you specialize in lakefront property, hunting land, whatever that you specialize is. Pick one, take the post, and or take the link and make a post. Now, of course, I do it through my own KV Core. If you guys know what KV Core is, it's a website that we all get through when you're an EXP agent. But most importantly, it's a CRM program and a lead capturing program. So when I make a post, I'm not making a post because I don't have anything else to do today, guys. I'm making a post because I want to see who is the next buyer on the market. So if I'm posting this home, let's say it's a $300,000 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, then I posted, right? Who do you think I'm going to find? I'm going to find people who are on the market for 3-bedroom, 2-bath, $300,000 homes. So here's when the portion of your commission comes in. If you post $1 million home, what kind of buyers are you going to find? $1 million buyer. Is the work the same? Yes, it is. Is the income the same? No, it's not. So which one you think you should post? I leave that up to you, whatever you feel comfortable, but we post on the higher end. The next one, Tuesday, we post one of our listings if it hasn't sold yet. If it did, then we post another listing. Every Wednesday, search for homes. Every Thursday, open houses for the weekend. The reason why we do it on Thursday, because most realtors will list their open houses for the weekend, and also most people start planning for the weekend. So we post open houses for the weekend on Thursdays. And also, I cover an area, guys, called Pinckney, Michigan. Good luck, try to find it on the maps. It's like tiny, right? So with that being said, if I posted open houses in Pinckney, Michigan, there might be one for the weekend. So instead of a small town, I do a whole county. So my team posts, these are the open houses for Livingston County. If you guys are in the same shoes where you cover a small area, make sure that you do a county so you can actually have more content to feed to people. And the last one, how much your home is worth. The reason why we do these on Fridays, because even though my system does what we call CMAs, competitive market analysis, and automatically sends it to people, I still like to look it over because a manual CMA is always better than what the system can do. The system will do a zestimate. You know what that means, guys, right? I don't have to tell you. So I like to look it over. So the reason we post these on Fridays, so then on the weekends, we can look over those CMAs, follow up with the people, and CMA is a competitive market analysis. So Monday, one of your listings. Monday, a listing. Tuesday, one of your listings. If you sold yours, find another one. Wednesday, search for homes. Thursday, open houses. And Fridays, how much your home is worth. And this is a schedule. You do it all the time. Good news, you can actually pre-schedule these. Like how much your home is worth and search for homes that can be pre-scheduled. The rest cannot be pre-scheduled because if you pre-schedule it, right, like those homes are probably already sold. So those will have to be a manual job. Okay, reviews and feedback. So you can work so hard, but if you don't spend, so if you only spend your time in the front end, right, these leads are coming in and you're working them. If you don't spend time at the back end to prove it to the world that you actually do an amazing job, then you're going to have to market for the rest of your life. So if you don't want to market for the rest of your life, you're going to get to the point where eventually people raise their hand and come to you. I never cold called, I never door knocked, I never bought a lead. I don't beg people to do business with me. I always had a chip on my shoulder. They're lucky if they get to work with me, right? With that being said, reviews are super duper important. So at the back end of your business, as soon as you close with someone, you should have an automated step to your process where as soon as a file gets closed, an automated email goes out. It was my pleasure working with you. I had a 5-star experience working with you, and I'm going to give you the actual verbiage that we use in the other one, but I want to walk you through it. The Google My Business is #1 where we get reviews. You have to exist on Google. It's not an option. You're going to create your Google My Business account and you're going to ask for reviews. The next one is the Premier Zillow agent review. Why? I don't buy leads from Zillow. I use their platform. Why? Because Zillow is really good at what? Marketing. They have spent God knows how much, probably millions and millions, if not billions of dollars on advertising to become a household brand. Everybody goes to Zillow to see how much their home is worth. Everybody spends time on Zillow. So if they automatically go on Zillow, then I want to be found. So you create a Premier Zillow agent account and you get your reviews there. Even though I don't use Zillow for leads, I use them for reviews because People are going to go there. They're going to look up agents per area. And the more reviews you have, the higher you come on the page, the more organic leads you get. Facebook business page reviews, I don't have to explain it. You're going to have a Facebook business page. You're going to get reviews and ideally the 5 stars. And then you're going to build this into your default automated email drip campaigns. So if you are still processing your own files, if you don't have a TC, then you are the TC, right? Until you have an assistant, you are the assistant, pretty much what they say. I don't do these things anymore. My assistants do, or my TCs do. So if you are the one, then you're going to send the follow-up email as soon as the file closed out. Or if you have TCs or assistants, you're going to build this into your step-by-step process. Here is what I say. Thank you for choosing GoGo's real estate team. We had a 5-star experience working with you. We hope you had the same. Can we ask for a moment of your time to follow the link below and leave us a review? Most people will search these websites to find a realtor, and we need to have strong online presence with these reviews. If you could please do us a favor and leave us a review on each of these 3 sites listed below, we would greatly appreciate it. Sadly, these sites don't allow us to copy and paste your review. It has to come straight from the source. Feel free to copy your first review and paste it into the other 2 platforms. Why do I send all 3? Because all 3 are equally important, and neither one of them allow reviews to come from another site. So I need my clients to go on Google, go on Zillow, go on Facebook, and leave the same review. So they're going to create one. So they're going to go to Google, they're going to write up their review, they're going to copy, go to Zillow, paste it, go to Facebook, paste it. The most important part in this one is the first sentence. Thank you for choosing, not the first, the second sentence. We had a 5-star experience working with you. We hope you had the same. What do you think that is? That's a mind game, guys. So if I said that I had a 5-star experience working with them, they would feel totally awkward saying that they didn't, right? So if they didn't, they're just not going to leave a review. If they did, they're going to leave you a 5-star. So I'm proud to say that I am 5 stars everywhere. I have one shitty 2-star review with someone that I don't even know who it is. Never worked with them. So if you get a bad review, here's another tip. If you get a bad review, you need to respond right away. So this bad review that I got, I responded right away. Hey, Jonathan, I don't know, it was a guy. Hey, Jonathan, I have no idea who you are. I have never worked with you. You have not been a client and you have not been an agent on another side of the transaction. I am not sure why you took the time of the day to leave a review, but I just wanted to clarify for everyone who's reading this that we have never worked together. Your review, it does not come from experience working with me. And I am more than happy to open up my book of business to prove that we have never worked together. Now, also, Google is super good at removing reviews that are like spam or like somebody has it out for you and they decided to go on Google and leave you have all of their people come leave you a bad review. So Google is actually super good about that. If you can prove it that you have never worked with that person, they will remove that review. You can fight it, but since I was more than happy to respond and I responded right away, I think it actually helped to see that not only I have 5-star reviews, the bad one that somebody left there, I actually never worked with them. Next thing is super important to build your database. Why? Because do you own your Instagram account? Do you own your Facebook account? Do you own your LinkedIn? So let me tell you, YouTube, all of these, you do not, they do. So Instagram actually owns GoGo's real estate. I don't own GoGo's real estate, Instagram does. They can wake up one day and shut me down. I could wake up today. I could have worked the last 13 years and wake up one day and it's not there anymore. So can you. In order to have access to the people that actually follow you, you have to have their data. The best way to do that is name and email address, phone number. So if you go to any of my websites, so if you go to gogobethke.com, for example, you're going to see a pop-up right away. In order for you to get my freebie, which is the fundamental branding of social media, which is an ebooklet, it's an amazing ebooklet, by the way, with I think 20 steps of literally everything that you need to do for the fundamentals of social media. In return, for you to receive that ebooklet, what do you need to give me? Your name and email address. How am I going to send it to you if I don't have it? Right? So you're going to get a gift in return. I'm going to get your information, and then I'm going to send you future information. I do a lot of trainings, a lot of free stuff, and I only send, I promise, 1 email a day. And that 1 email a day is content. We literally have a 61% opening rate, while the industry has less than 20% opening rate. So that means 6 people out of every 10 that I email opens my emails. That's how good they are, because I give and give and give content. So because I give, they open it. Okay. So that's number 1. If you decide to build your .coms and your social media platforms, you have to figure out ways how you can collect people's information through a lead magnet. And this is considered a lead magnet, right? because it draws people to it. You're giving them something in return. They are more than happy to give you their email address. And then collect that data, because if one day one of your accounts gets shut down, you can just email these people and say, hey guys, something happened. Here's my new account. Follow me here, right? Okay, there we go. Automation. So this is number one most important thing. This is how I live my life. These 3 words, I said 3. You guys see how good I am with 3 words. Automated, delegated, or eliminated. So your number one is automation, because that's the cheapest form of so-said labor. Not even labor. And I'm going to explain ManyChat in a second. So ManyChat costs me how much, Lindsay, a month? Is it 20 something?
It's like $14, $15. It's very affordable.
Really? Is that cheap? I don't even know what it costs, guy. I don't care what it costs, because it's worth every penny. If it was $1 million, I would pay it. Hopefully ManyChat is not listening. So with that being said, let me tell you the example. So I'm on stage, 9,000 people in the room, speaking engagement. I told them to go to my social media and comment the word. They did. We sent, this ManyChat app sent 6,000 text messages in less than 20 seconds. 20 seconds, 6,000 text messages. Okay, so let's play the game. How many employees do you think I would need to have employed to send 6,000 text messages in 20 seconds? Even if they copy and paste, let's say it's 4 seconds a text, right? We are sending, or 5 seconds a text, we would be sending 4 text messages in those 20 seconds. So if we take the 6,000 divided by 4, I would need 1,500 employees to get it done. So if you have automation, if it's possible to do something through technology, ManyChat will literally blow your mind. It looks like my team showed you a keyword, and I can show you how it works. So if you go over to my Instagram, so watch my hands. Okay, go over to my Instagram and comment or DM either on any of my posts, it doesn't matter, pick one, and comment the word partner. And then I just sent you probably 500 text messages with my hands up in the air, wiggling my fingers. I didn't send a single text, but I did. Every single one of you who went to my GoGo's Real Estate Instagram, commented the word partner on any of my posts, you have a DM in your inbox right now. That's how ManyChat works. ManyChat will allow you to set up keywords for certain actions when you make your post, or you create something like this, a training, and you say, hey, go there and comment the word partner. They automatically get the message and they get the link. So this works for me forever, guys. I could have made a post 2 years ago and put the word partner on there, and they literally went there, clicked the word today, and they still got the message. I don't even know when it's happening in the background. It's happening all the time. So if you have a product to sell, or if you have a webinar that's coming up, if you have a speaking engagement and you want to sell tickets to it, you just create the keyword with a message, with a link, and the system's going to send it automatically. It will recognize the keyword in your DMs or in your chat. So here is my partner keyword in action. So I use this keyword to attract agents to EXP, right? So I would say something like, hey, if you would like to have, partner with me in real estate, just comment the word partner, you'll get a message. I can't wait to see you in my calendar, right? So in this case, someone commented the word partner, they got the check your DMs for the link. Then they got in their DMs, a DM is a direct message, in their DMs, just like you guys got a message now. I'm so excited you're interested in changing brokerages and maybe joining me at EXP. Jump into my calendar. Let's talk. Let's see if it would be a good fit to partner. And then it takes them over to this link. So what it does, it's multiple things. It automates your life, number one. Number two, it allows you to take people off of Instagram and over to a link, which Instagram does not allow. Facebook does, LinkedIn does. Under a post on Facebook, you can include a direct link, but under a post on Instagram, you cannot. So this is your way where you can literally take people off of Instagram and take them over to your product or take them over to your service, whatever you are selling. Another good one on here that looks like my team didn't put it in here. If you comment the word AI, like artificial intelligence, I also do a lot of work in artificial intelligence. If you comment the word AI on any of my posts or you DM it to me, you will get an AI booklet, which is like my top 10 tips for AI. It includes the prompts that we feed to my AI to make it sound like me. That's actually a good one. I should have told you guys earlier about that. So if you go there and comment AI, you will get my AI booklet, which is amazing. Okay. So let's talk about email scheduling. So I think after you collect people's emails, it's super important to form a healthy relationship with them. Just like Anderson sends us daily emails, I send daily emails to everybody that ever signed up on anything that I do. So for example, here are some examples how we use it. On what day this was, week 4. So every week is different, but this is just an example. On Monday, it looks like we sent out an email about Go High Level. So I use Go High Level for everything. I have a QR code for you guys later. Don't worry about it. So they sent an email, explain. So not only what I know, but what I do, literally down to the day-to-day nitty-gritty, I share everything with people. So if you want to know how we build everything and what systems we use and how we evolve in the social media and branding and entrepreneurial world, sign up on anything that I told you here. I collected your email address if you signed up on, and you're going to get those emails. If you don't like my emails, please unsubscribe. There's a button right at the bottom. So here it is, Go High Level on Monday, TED Talk Experience on Tuesday, Go Get a Membership on Wednesday. On Thursday, we talked about answering questions about mindset. On looks like Friday, whatever day that is, we did a podcast feature. And on Saturday, we did a book recommendation. And on Sunday, we did Reels. So this is the schedule that we do it every single week. My Sunday email is my shortest. It usually just a quick little mindset capture and a reel that goes along with it. Usually every Saturday, I recommend a book. I'm a huge reader. If you guys see all of these books behind me, I like to describe what I learned from that book and then give you the direct link where you can purchase it. So then we can get smarter together. The next one, so here is Go High Level. So here's the QR code for Go High Level. If you guys don't know what Go High Level is, so let me show you this thing on the wall. These things, I should say. Okay, you guys see my comma clubs? Okay, so I have 3 of them. I have 3 2 comma clubs. So if anybody who's familiar with building funnels or websites, in other words, you know what I'm talking about. So I have built 3 websites. A 2 comma club means you have generated over 7 digits with that link or that website. So there are 2 commas in the numbers. So I have built 3 websites that generated over millions of dollars, right? So with that being said, we used to use ClickFunnels for that. Now ClickFunnels doesn't have a lot of the features that Go High Level was able to incorporate into one platform. So now I can do everything from Go High Level. I can do all of my payment processings. I can do all of the invoicing, all of the communications via email and via text. I can use it as a CRM program. I can use it as Calendly. So now we no longer pay for Calendly. You can connect things. So now less Zoom, less Zapier integrations we have to do. You can use it as a Slack for communicating with people. You can use it as, what is the other feature? The when you work through like work templates, like I can't think of it, Trello. So if you use Trello where you had a project and then you went from one step in the project to the next step in the project and you assign it to people, you can do all of that. So pretty much everything you can think of, you can do it. The best part of it though, so as I told you earlier, we have 9 businesses. So in 9 businesses in the past, I had to have 9 different accounts. So I had to have a Calendly for this business, a Calendly for this business. So instead of having to do all that, I have one login, one password. I go in, each of my businesses or sub accounts, I like to call them buckets because I imagine each of my businesses hold all of these specific things. So for example, my Go Get 'em webinar membership, right? These people are in the Go Get 'em bucket. My GoGopreneur people, which is my podcast, are in my GoGopreneur bucket. My team GoGo, which is my 1,500, we had 1,500 agents today. Literally, I got the text while I was sitting here from my team. So in my Team GoGo organization, we have 1,500 agents in almost every state in the US and in 6 different countries. I have agents in Puerto Rico, guys. So all of these are different buckets, but the good thing is I have all the features for all of the companies under one login. So it is mind blowing and you can build unlimited websites and funnels, right? So that's Go High Level. Here's the link if you don't have it. With my link, you can get 2 weeks for free. Check it out. Now, I'll be brutally honest with you guys. It took us months to set it up. Months. It is not easy. It has more features than you have time of the day to figure it all out. It's going to take you months. But even if you just have one business today, If I knew back then what I know today, I would start with this one, because you can keep adding on. The more businesses you have, the more CRM programs you need, the more checkout pages you need, and with all the payment processing and all that, all the emails and the text, you can get it done in one place instead of having to have all of these different accounts. So that's Go High Level. Okay, so let's talk about the help that you need. Oh, and I love this design. I haven't actually seen it. Oh my gosh. Okay, so here are my assistants. Let me walk you through who's who and what do they do for me. I could not do what I do without my team. They're absolutely amazing, and I am blessed to have them. And I'm honored to say that many of them have been with me for years, and that's how I like to keep it. I do not like to fire people. I hire right, so I have the hiring down to a science. In a little bit, we are going to talk about DISC assessments. But let me tell you what they do for me. So we're going to start on the top left. This is Raphael. He's our newest addition. And Raphael helps with the GoGopreneur podcast and also building funnels in the background. Then we have Carol and in the middle, top middle. And Carol is my email, like pretty much anything that requires writing. So if I need a new bio, if I need a website description, if I need an email, anything that requires something written and I need it to sound like me, that is Carol's job. Now, Carol writes it. Of course, she uses ChatGPT 99% of the time, but she's the one who reads it, makes sure it sounds like me, creates all the posts, all the links, make sure everything's clickable, all of that stuff. And on the right-hand side, we have Larissa. And Larissa is actually Lindsay. So Lindsay right here, hopefully you guys can see my cursor. Lindsay is my executive assistant. So Lindsay goes everywhere I go. Every single Zoom call, she's on the call here today. And then Larissa is her assistant. But Larissa also manages GoGo and webinars. So we have a membership where I teach everything that I know, super affordable. We're going to give you guys a 10% discount at the end. She manages all that. Then we have Priscilla, and Priscilla she's been with us for so long that she kind of went through a different type of jobs. Right now she is, I don't even know what she just got assigned to. What did she? Oh, Rec USA. So Rec USA is that Facebook group. You remember Real Estate Community USA? Then I own the largest real estate Facebook group in the US. It's almost literally 500,000 users, and she manages that. It requires a lot of accepting people into the group, answering questions, weekly posts, weekly lives, all of those things. Under her, this is Ellen, and Ellen is the cutest thing you'll ever meet, and she's my design girl. She's super bubbly, like just the cutest personality, and she designs everything. So anything you see from me that looks like a flyer, or it's a YouTube video image, or my podcast image, or anything that you see that was designed, this presentation was done by Ellen. So I don't do any of this. I just show up and present. She creates everything. Anything that needs to be pretty, that is Ellen's job. And then we have down here Natalia, and Natalia is a pretty new addition, probably going on 2 years now. And she is responsible for the GoGopreneur podcast. So anything from shooting the videos to inviting the guests to not editing them because we have a video editor, but posting them, making sure we went live on all of the platforms, making sure that our advertisers, when they apply, they get in the right space. So anything podcast related, that's Natalia. Then we have Abu in the middle. Abu is our video editor. Anything video is edited by Abu. That could be my podcast, that could be my YouTube channel, that could be shorts and reels and TikToks, and you name it, anything video is Abu. Then we have Saeed, and Saeed is my oldest VA, not by age, but by how long he has been working for me. He's from Pakistan. Everybody else is pretty much from Brazil, besides Abu is from India, and we are missing Shreed. Oh, Shreed didn't make the cut. So Shreed and Abu are from India, and Shreed is not on here. Saeed is from Pakistan, and Saeed is my numbers guy. So any spreadsheets, by the way, my trackers have trackers. I love tracking everything. Saeed does all of my trackers. We had a meeting today, which we call our numbers meeting, and literally anything trackers, and also our onboarding. So when we onboard our agents, Saeed does that. Why did I wanted you guys to see this? I want you to see this because if you don't learn to leverage, you cannot possibly build an empire. Like, you are going to hit a personal ceiling and you're not going to be able to build it from there. So you need to learn to leverage other people's time and other people's talent. Oh, and I forgot Jonathan. So Jonathan right here, he's also from Brazil. Any of my funnels are built by Jonathan. We also build agents their funnels. That's a service that we provide. It's going to be a part of the GoGo membership here soon. And he builds other people's funnels, and he also does the Tech Thursdays. So anything technology, he helps our agents through that. So some of the ways that my VAs help me, by the way, they're all virtual assistants. If you notice, they're all from Brazil, India, or Pakistan. So they are never physically with me. They're always in another part of the world. And Brazil, the good thing about Brazil, that they work 1 hour off of Eastern time zone. I work in Eastern time zone, so they pretty much work when I do. Now, Saeed and Shreed and Abu, since they are in the eastern side of the world, they work in the middle of the night. So I do feel bad for them, but that's how they're used to. They're used to working with US-based companies, so they work in the middle of the night. So some of the different capacities that VAs work with me: executive assistant, social media assistant, design assistant, tech numbers assistant, video editing, onboarding, Facebook groups manager, podcast assistant, website creator, real estate team assistant, and course manager. Now, the reason why I wanted to break this down is that when you hire virtual assistants, they're much cheaper. And I'm so sorry to say this, but it costs you way less than if you hired in-person Americans. And I don't have to 1099 them because they're outside of the country. Also, you don't have to do matching 401ks and all of the different, I don't have to have an HR department, right? All of these different things that you have to do when you have American employees, you don't have to do it with VAs. So I run a very, very lean machine. I run a 90-10. Like 90% of my income is pretty much pure profit and 10% is where my expenses are. With the 9 companies that I run today, I had Christy run my numbers. I spend $14,000 a month and we make millions of dollars every single year. So not only then I like system, not only then I don't run ads, right? So I don't have cost on generating the business. I don't have cost in the business as high as most people do because I use virtual assistants from other countries. Now, I do have in-person assistants too, because I couldn't do it without people helping me here physically as well. So I haven't run a load of laundry in like 7 years. I don't grocery shop. I don't walk my dog. There are certain things that if it doesn't make me the money and I don't have the time, I don't do it. Now, don't get me wrong. I do walk my dog sometimes, but she gets walked most of the time by somebody else. So my house assistant, her name is Mandy. She comes every day between 8:30 and 2:30, and she's pretty much here all day, every day. So she's like a house mom. She does everything that I would do. Why? Because when I am done with my day, when I'm done here with you guys, I don't want to go out there and stare at the mountain of the dishes that my teenage boys did. I don't want to see fingerprints on fridges because that just gives me the weebie-jeebies. I don't want to clean the microwave on the inside because they blew up something in there. When I am done working, I want to enjoy my day. So because of that, I have a house assistant, and then we also have a house cleaner. So think of it this way. I think at some point here, this is exactly where we are going to do your hourly rate. So let's calculate your hourly rate because there's a reason why I'm showing you all of this, guys. So I want you to take pen and paper and a phone calculator. So take your phones out. If you're on your phone, you can swipe up and still use the calculator, even though you are on Zoom. Okay, if you work a healthy 40 hours a week, you work 2,080 hours in a year. Now, if you're a realtor, I know we don't work healthy 40 hours, but the goal is to work healthy 40 hours or get to the point where you don't have to work at all and your money makes you money, but that's a whole other conversation. While you're working, I want you to not work more than 40 hours so you can still have a life. So what I want you to do is take the amount of money that you made last year, not what you pay taxes on, or not after expenses, and not after all of that, every amount of money that hit your account last year. So take the total of that. So let's say, for example, if it's $250,000, then take the $250,000 and divide it by 2,080. That brings your hourly rate to $120. So now I'm going to clear out the chat, and I want to see what is the hourly rate of yours. Put it into the chat and own it. That's where you are today. You're going to change it. So take the total amount you did last year, divided by 2,080, and that is your hourly rate. Okay, we have $48, $210, $65, $90, $190, $0. Someone's just starting out now. $60, $1,200. George, congratulations. You probably haven't run a load of laundry in a very long time. $180, $60, $259, $80. Okay, so here's the math, guys. Thank you for owning up to it. $145. This is where you are at. You can only change it if you track it. And I always own up to everything that I do. $4.80, Tina says, and Tina is laughing. Hey, Tina, we're going to change that. This is where you are. Your internal GPS is going to take you where you want to go, and I can teach you how to do that. So with that being said, how much do you think someone would charge you to come to your house and do a load of laundry? Put that into the chat box. How much do you think someone's going to charge you an hour to sew said do laundry for you, grocery shop for you, what would be their hourly rate? Seema says $20, $12 for Teresa, $15 for Leticia, 25, 17 for Carla. So the reason, and $10 for Jamie. The reason why I'm asking you guys to see this is because the highest rate you saw was $25. That's what I paid. I paid $25, but that is the most expensive that I paid by far, right? So with that being said, my hourly rate now is $1,200 an hour. Used to be higher because I used to work more. Then I decided I need to spend some time with my family. And now I'm building my passive income, but I still make $1,200 an hour. Okay. With that being said, do you think I qualify to do laundry? Do you think I know how to do a load of laundry? Absolutely. It's like riding a bike. You're never going to forget it. You know how to ride. You know how to do a load of laundry. If I go and do that load of laundry, it's going to be a very expensive load of laundry. It's going to be $1,200 in an hour. So if I spend an hour on that load of laundry, I'm spending $1,200 of my own money, because if I stayed in my lane and I did what I'm good at, I would have made $1,200, not save $25. Most people don't spend money on services like this because in their mind, oh, I know how to do laundry. I'm going to save that $25. You are not saving the $25. You are losing $1,200. Because if you would have spent that hour while someone is doing laundry for you, if you would have spent that hour to make money-making activities, you would have made your hourly rate versus trying to save that. So for me, every time I do a load of laundry, it would cost me $1,175. I would be losing $1,175 in that hour instead of making $1,200. Do you think I should do laundry? Nope, nor should you. Now that you have your hourly rate, I want you to write it down on a piece of paper, and I want you to stick it where you're going to see it for the rest of your life. And you're never, ever, ever going to do anything ever again that doesn't make you that money in that hour. Because if you do, you're not making money, you're losing money. So that's why I have so many assistants. I went from making $800,000 working full-time with one assistant, and my head was spinning and I had zero life, to making $2.8 million in the next year with 14 assistants, working 3 days a week. I work Monday to Wednesday, 24 hours a week. So instead of working 24 hours, instead of working, God knows, 90 hours to make 800,000, I work 24 hours to make 2.8 million. It's a little better math. So here's the thing: automate, delegate, or eliminate. So we talked about automating it through the systems, delegating it to virtual assistants. And the last one is eliminating it by not doing things that A, you hate, or B, doesn't make you the money. So I don't do things. When you can get to the point where you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. So I don't do things that if it doesn't make me more money, or I'm not good at it and I don't enjoy it. So stop doing those things and hire it out. It's super simple. Okay, so let's do red light, green light exercise. I'm going to explain what this is. So the way I decide how I'm going to hire the next person or who do I need, I do a red light, green light exercise. So you're going to take a piece of paper and ideally a clipboard. And you're going to take the paper and you're going to draw a line from in the middle, from top to bottom. You're going to put red light on one side, green light on the other. You're going to walk around that with clipboard all week or all month, depending what type of job is. When you walk around with that all week, you're going to put in the red light section. So for example, let's say you wake up and you check your Instagram and you respond to DMs, right? And you ask yourself, is this something that I need to do, or can I stop doing this right now? Someone else can do it so I can go make money making activities. So if you can stop doing it because somebody else can do it, you're going to put it in the red light section. If you are like, oh, I'm making a post as I'm coming down for my coffee and I have to be in the video, can my VA do that for me? No, they can't, because I have to be in the video. That's green light section. Can my VA respond to all the DMs and send all the links and all that? Absolutely. I don't have to do that. I just have to create it. I don't have to respond to it. That's a red light section. So I want you to go into your day with the idea of every step that you take, every schedule, every email, every DM, every post, every yard sign, everything, whatever that you do in your business, you're going to put it in one or the other category. Red light, stop doing it because somebody else can do it for much lower hourly rate than yours. Green light, you are it. Okay. Now here's what I want you to pay attention in the red light section. Your ego is going to answer it probably 50% of the time. What do I mean by that? You're going to be like, yeah, I could hire it out, but nobody ever going to do it as good as me. Nobody ever going to do it as fast as me. I already don't have the time to train them. Oh my gosh, I don't have the patience for that, right? That's your ego. That is not your heart. That is your ego talking. You can absolutely train people to be 50% as good as you. If you have 2 people 50% as good as you, that's 100% of you. Okay? Absolutely. So check your ego at the door when you're answering the red light section. When you get to the end of the week, everything that's in the red light section, that is your new virtual assistant or in-person assistant's job description. So in the red light section, you're going to see things that can be done online. You're going to see things that's going to be done in person. If it has to be done in person, like buying closing gifts or, I don't know, walking your dog, right? Those things have to be done by an in-person assistant. So you're going to have to hire someone in person. And then everything else like emails, DMs, posts, checks, this, answer that, all that can be done online, and that would be a virtual assistant. So that's the red light, green light exercise. So the 14 VAs work in 10 different job capacities. We talked about that. I hire pretty much everything out. That's how I went. So from making 12, I guess my hourly rate is $12.50. I pay 14 VAs, $5 an hour. That's $70, right? For the hour. And that saves me pretty much my life. So let's do the math. So I work 24 hours. I work about 8 hours a day, Monday to Wednesday. I gave myself an extended weekend for the rest of my life. When my best friend passed away 2 years ago in a car accident, I decided that, yeah, we are not going to be chasing with the speed and the energy that I've been chasing the next level of me. We can get it done in 3 days, whatever I can fit into the 3 days. So now I work Monday to Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I spend with my friends and family, or if I feel like doing nothing, I do nothing. So that means I work 24 hours a week. 14 of my VAs work 40 hours a week. So that's 560 hours worth of work done, even though I only work 24. They work 560 together. So in 1 week, 584 hours worth of work gets done, which, by the way, equals to 30,368 hours per year, which divided by 2,080, I work about 10 times, almost 11 times more in a workday than everybody else that does not leverage. Hopefully, this helped you see the math. Some of my VAs also pay for themselves. So I pay for my VAs to get trained in something. I'm not expecting them to know how to onboard agents to EXP when they join me. So the first 3 months, for example, I look at my VAs as an expense, right? Pretty much, I just pay them to learn. So if I hire them into a job and they have, let's say, some experience, even if they have some experience, they still don't know how to work with you. How would they fit into your day-to-day, right? So the first 3 months we train, they come to every meeting, they kind of get a clue of who I am, what we do, how we work. If they are specific in a specific subject, like for example, Saeed spends all day in spreadsheets, I ask him his level, and then I send him to all kinds of free YouTube training. So I'm going to say, oh, go learn this about Excel, go learn that about Google Drive, go learn this about Google Sheets, like go do your research. I pay them to learn. And around 90 days, they become really good. They understand who you are, how you work, and they learn their job. That's when they start working. Over time, when they become really good at something, then I said pimp them out. So Saeed, for example, is my onboarding agent, but many of the agents at EXP don't have their own onboarding department, so they can use my agent. They come here, they pay for 45 minutes, $100. They use my agent. I make the $100, right? So Saeed, not only that he pays for himself through these onboarding calls, but he also pays for 2.5 other VAs. So I don't even have to pay the VAs, because through the training that I put him through, the time and money that I invested into Saeed, in return, now he knows how to do something that he can be hired out for certain jobs. He gets paid through that. I get paid through that. We pay all the other VAs. So let's talk about, how am I doing on time? Do I have like 15 more minutes? Can you guys last with me for 15 more minutes?
You go as long as you need, GoGo. This is really good information.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So let's talk about DISC assessments. I love DISC assessments because when you learn to use DISC assessments, you become really good at hiring, so you don't have to fire. I have not had to fire in a very long time. Now, periodically, I have to have what we call a come to Jesus moment, which we had with one of my employees this morning, but we have a heart-to-heart, and then we move on, and life is good. As long as they don't do it again, they continue working for me, right? I don't enjoy firing. Because of that, I hire right. So let's talk about, if you look at the left-hand side, and actually put it into the chat if you have taken a DISC assessment. So say yes if you have taken your own DISC assessment. In the meantime, I get to have a sip. So quite a few of you, we are at 20 already, but it stopped at 2021. So there's 468 people on here. If you have not taken a DISC assessment, Lindsay, maybe you can put the free link, those 2 free links for the free DISC assessment, so you guys can do it later tonight. Don't be under the influence of anything. Do not be with people when you take it. Be by yourself and be honest to answer those questions. So when you look at my DISC assessment on the left-hand side, we all have what's called an adaptive style and a natural style. So my adaptive style is who I am at work. So this on the left-hand side here. My natural style, who I am when I'm comfortable, when I'm with people that I have known, like my husband, my kids, my best friends, right? So if you look at, I'm like 2 different personalities. So at work, my D and I is super high. D is like dominant personality. I is eye of the party. S is like you care about people, but in my case, I don't care about people as much as I care about myself, right? And then if you look at Christy on the right-hand side, Christy cares way more about others than she cares about herself first. So Christy is always making sure that I am taken care of, the business is taken care of, because that is her nurturing style, right? And my C, as you see it, C is your detail orientedness. As you can see that I got 0 of that. Like, as we say it in Hungarian, it's under the frog's ass. Like, it couldn't be lower than that. So what means is I do not pay attention to details. I do not care how we're going to get to that big dream that I dreamt for us, right? I just know we're going to get there. But because of that, I need people that have skills that I don't. So if you look at my adaptive style and then you look at Christy's adaptive style, right? Which Christy has been with me for 13 years. She's my girl to my Oprah, right? She's my polar opposite. When I was interviewing her, let me tell you, I did not like Christy. I did not want to hire her. What's going to happen when you interview people is if you like them because they are just like you. If they're just like you, do you need another GoGo? No. You need to hire people who have skills that you don't. If you hire people who are just like you, in a little time, which is their natural, let's say 3 to 6 months, people start getting comfortable, their natural style is going to come out. When their natural style is going to come out, you're going to butt heads if you don't hire right. Okay? So adaptive style is my Christy. Her D is low, which means we don't butt heads because she's not dominant. She doesn't care to be in front of the camera. She's fine behind it. Her I, everybody knows her name and she likes that, right? But she doesn't have to be in front of the camera to do that. Everybody knows my Christy. Her S, she cares a lot about people, more than she cares about herself because it's over 50%. And her C, as you can see it, she's pretty detail oriented. She's 70% detail oriented, where my detail orientedness doesn't exist. So with this being said, this is the person I needed to hire in order for me to be able to take the things that I dream up and make it a reality. So this is not only that we need help because eventually you're going to run out of time. We need help because naturally we don't have the skills to make all of our dreams come true. So you have to hire certain things out. So this is Lindsay's DISC assessment. If you look at her natural, she's in the middle on everything. Lindsay is my executive assistant. She's with me all day, every day. Everything that I do, she is right there. Now I want to show you.
This is actually my old one, and this is my new one. Yeah.
So when we hired her, how long ago? 3 years ago now, Lindsay?
Yeah, 3 years.
3 years ago. So 3 years ago, this was Lindsay in the middle. So she got hired in right away because I knew we never going to butt heads. And I knew she's in the middle. She's happy. Whatever. However it falls, it falls. She's going to be fine with it. Now imagine when someone has to work with me every day. It's a walk in the park. No, it's more like a walk in Jurassic Park working with me every day. I'm like this all the time, right? So I needed someone who can handle it, who's not going to cry every day by noon, which she did. For how long, Lindsay?
A couple weeks, I think.
For a couple of weeks. She cried every day and was ready to quit. But she stuck it out and we get along amazingly. But I want you to see what happened to her after working with me for 3 years. So look at her natural. She's in the middle on everything. Look at her adaptive. She's very detail oriented, kind of low D, no I. She doesn't have to, the world doesn't need to know about her, as she cares about people. But look what happened to her after 2.5 years working with me. So look at her adaptive style. So this is her at work now. She's high D and high C. So I need her to have a high D because I need her to be, so since she's in charge of my calendar, I need her to have a high D because she has to comfortably say no to people all the time. So now she grew a backbone. This is her backbone right here. This is her high D. No, thank you. We can't do that. Thank you so much for thinking of us, right? C is her detail orientedness. She has to be on her tippy toes every single day. As soon as I ask her a question, where is the link? She sends it to me. But guess what happens when two high Ds, two roosters in a hen house? You're going to butt heads. So we had to have a heart-to-heart conversation and say, Lindsay, I love the fact that you grew a backbone. She will even tell you the story about going to town, and I'll let her do that in a second. But we had to have the heart-to-heart to be like, don't practice that with me, because guess who's going to get fired? Not me. I own these businesses. You will, and I would hate to lose her. Right? So she learned to tame her D when she's with me, but grow a backbone when she's dealing with other people. So do you want to tell the story, Lindsay, super quick about going to a store?
Yeah, just very quick. So I am used to be on a very demanding expectations at work, you know. So when I went to downtown, that time that I specifically talked to GoGo about, I was so frustrated that I didn't receive the right treatment, or the treatment that I was expecting, because here at work we have higher expectations. We work for GoGo, right? And I was so frustrated when I got home because I was not treated well, as we try to do our best, you know, when we talk to customers and students, you know, when I respond to the GoGo's emails as well, when I respond to her DMs, we try to be as nice as possible, because at the end of the day, this is all related to GoGo and her name. So I was, you know, very frustrated that I didn't have a good experience as a customer.
Thank you. So she told me, she's like, GoGo, I can't even go to stores without getting frustrated with their marketing or with their customer service or things like that. So people can change too. So I wanted you to see, who you hire, but if they change, which is an amazing change, because she does an amazing job. I don't ever want to lose Lindsay. She's an amazing executive assistant, and hopefully she stays with me forever. Like, she's going to be like my other girl to my Oprah, right? But with that being said, she did change because the job was so demanding, and we had to have a heart-to-heart to make sure her D doesn't, you know, butt heads with my D. But other than that, she's doing a fabulous job. So I want you to get familiar with discs, because the faster you learn how to read people on paper, the less you ever going to have to fire. Okay, here are the free disc assessments. You guys can scan it, but I think my team also put it into the chat box, so you guys can take your disc assessments later. I take both because the results come in a little different, and I like to see results on both. One is more like a description, the other is more like a spreadsheet, or these like bars that I showed you. I live by my Google Calendar. Lindsay, what slide am I on? How many more slides do we have? 73? Okay, so here we go. I live by my Google Calendar. I absolutely cannot do anything without it. I am scheduled. I am super duper scheduled, and this is what it looks like. Besides that, it's my Google Calendar. We also use a color coordination. So when my eye goes to my calendar, I know right away what I'm doing today. So for example, red is work appointments, and I physically, like, I have to be there. Nobody else can do it for me. I have to be there. That's a red appointment. Stop doing everything else. You have to be here. That's what that means in my mind. Blue means family. Since I have 2 boys, everything that's blue on here, I know I'm doing it with my family, with my kids. Green means trips. Yellow means trips if people coming to us. Since we moved to Florida, a lot of people come and visit. So I need to know if someone's coming to me, because like I can't do a live event for 3 hours if my best friend is poolside. Does that make sense? And purple are birthdays. I celebrate my agents and everyone who partners with me at EXP. I take my partnership super seriously. So every time you see a purple one on here, we celebrate their birthdays. I personally call them and sing them happy birthday, or I send them a personal message or things like that. Color coordinating, we talked about that. What color you use is totally up to you. I just kind of did, like, if you have girls, maybe make it pink. I have boys, so I have my family events in boys. Because my schedule is out to the public. So I live a very public life. There's a lot of links, a lot of websites that people can just go find a way into my calendar. Used to be able to, they can't anymore. But everything we do is kind of pre-done, or they have access to a certain thing. So like, for example, if someone goes to my Partner With Me tab, they can absolutely jump into my calendar because I do want to partner with them. But if they want to invite me to a podcast, they don't have direct access to my calendar because I don't want to attend every single podcast. I pick and choose of what my time, right? So who has access to my calendar? It's also very important. Outside of the public is also internally who has access to your calendar. I don't schedule anything. Anybody ever wants to schedule with me, they go through Lindsay. She's the guard to my calendar. So Lindsay has full access and Christy has full access. Other than that, the rest of them has viewer access. So for example, they can see where I'm at, but they cannot adjust my calendar. They cannot remove a meeting and then another one instead, right? So it's super important how you give access to the people. Some some of my assistants can only view, some can actually edit. And that's your decision how they do that. Who manages it and how? So let's talk about that super quick. Besides me, of course, Christy and Lindsay. So I have access to my calendar. If I have a personal appointment, like someone invites us out to dinner, of course, I'm going to put it in there super quick. So my team doesn't book me for something later at night, which they would have to ask me anyway. But other than that, I don't book anything besides personal, right? If it's a doctor's appointment, my in-person assistant puts that into my calendar. So really, it's only like if I'm quickly meeting someone for a coffee or things like that, then I handle. Other than that, everything is handled by Christy or Lindsay. They have full access to my calendar and most of them. So these are the options how you can do it. You can have see only, free or busy. They can see all event details, make changes to events or make changes and manage sharing. So for example, the first one, see only, free and busy, they see that you're not available. They don't see what you are actually doing. So sometimes you might want to be like, well, I don't want all my employees know that I'm out on a boat all day. So they see that you're busy, they don't know what you're doing. With that being said, I'm an open book. All of my employees pretty much see everything, but they cannot edit my calendar. Only Lindsay and Christy can, but the rest of them still know that I'm on a live or I'm on a podcast or I'm traveling, right? Setting up your availability ahead of time is super important, especially if you live an online life like I do. What are the days that you are going to be available? So if there's a link out there for the world, they can schedule you. You better have blocks sometimes. So you might say, okay, I can take agent attraction calls every Tuesday and Thursday afternoon from 2 to 4, because I know I'm going to be in front of the computer because I'm doing a podcast before and I'm done at 5 or whatever that is, right? But you have to pre-schedule these things so you don't have surprise events in your calendar. And block your calendar for days you are not available. So if you look at mine, this is where it comes in super handy. So you remember, I don't work Thursdays and Fridays. Saturdays and Sundays are not available anywhere for people to schedule with me. But Thursdays and Fridays, Lindsay or Christy can still plug things into my calendar, but only if they manually plug it in. None of the links that you find anywhere on any of my website will ever allow you to schedule with me from Thursday to Sunday. In order to do that, we have to block my calendar. So literally there's a block for Thursday, there's a block for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So nobody, no matter what link they have, will ever be able to jump into my calendar on those days. I respect my time. You should too, because we only have one life. Okay. Different pre-scheduled. Oh, actually, I don't know. We might have multiple lives. I don't know. Okay. Different pre-scheduled appointments. So here are some of the appointments that are pre-scheduled. So for example, let's talk EXP. That is my moneymaker. So this one is scheduled, as you can see, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, anytime then I have in between my existing appointments. So if I have an appointment at 11, but I don't have one until 3 o'clock that day, then it's going to show available so people can jump into my calendar and talk to me about EXP. Now, there is a rule here too, or a couple of rules. So for example, they cannot schedule for today. They cannot schedule for tomorrow. They can only schedule 48 hours out. Why? Because let's say I go to bed tonight and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have all day open, and I wake up in the morning and we decide we go fishing, right? And then it's 11 o'clock and I get a reminder, oh, so-and-so just jumped into my calendar and I'm in the middle of the ocean. That can't happen. So nobody can schedule with me for a minimum of 48 hours, but many of the things that I do, I'm scheduled months out. I don't even know how long we've been working on this to get this presentation ready and up and running and be here live, right? So many of the things that I do months out, but I want you to think of the things. Do you want a surprise? So if you wake up in the morning and you suddenly have an 11 o'clock and it's in between 2 showings appointments, and now you have a agent attraction call, or you have a listing appointment, you're not even in a Wi-Fi area because you're in the middle of the boonies showing houses, that can't happen. So when you're setting up these pre-scheduled appointments, I want you to take that in consideration. How early they can schedule and how much time you need in between appointments if you need driving distance or things like that. 3-way calls, I do agent attraction calls for my team. So if they are growing their teams or brokerage, I jump on a call to help them. That's that. Seller consultation and buyer consultation. If you guys are realtors, this is the easiest thing to plug right into your Facebook, for example. Or if you're a seller, just jump into my calendar. Here's a quick free 15-minute call. If they want to have me on their podcast, this is the link that Lindsay sends them. This is not out there for the public. We only send them if I want to be on their podcast, then they can pick a time. But guess what I do? I only do podcasts every Tuesday at 11. So if they're having me, it's going to be on a Tuesday at 11, whatever I have open. So let's work on the right mindset. And I think I actually going to have to stop it here, guys, because I have a dinner appointment and I have to drive 45 minutes and I'm never going to make it on time if I continue. But I do want to add on a couple of things because mindset is super duper important. If you don't have the right real estate in between, the 6 inches between your ears, you are not going to take action. If you don't take action, you don't need to hire. If you don't need to hire, you don't need, like, you're not going to make the money. You're not going to have the right systems. Mindset is the number one that you need to work on to decide who you are, why God created you to be who you are, and what do you bring to this earth, and why people need to work with you, and why you are the best at what you are doing. And very last, I'm going to slide over to the very last slide, and I can come back another time and do a whole mindset training for you guys. There we go. And one side back. Here's what I would like to talk to you guys about. I am so honored that I was here, and I honor that you spend the time with us here today. And don't go anywhere because Toby has his own presentation. If I use up all the 3 hours, what is Toby going to talk about? But I want you to understand, and I totally, from the bottom of my heart, understand an hour of your time is an hour of your life. You just spent 2 hours with me. I appreciate you for that. This is what I enjoy doing. I live my life by the quote, I can have absolutely anything in life, the more people I help to get what they want. If you enjoyed the training here today, there is way more where this one came from. I literally have hundreds of hours of training. And one of the ways how you can be a part of that is what we call the GoGo community or GoGo webinars. Right now, we are giving a discount for you guys. By the way, I never give discounts. I give a 10% discount for you guys for Anderson Advisor people crowd, right? So you can become a member. Our membership is $49 a month. We do trainings like this once a month. You guys get it at a 10% off. And also, what I am blessed with is a lot of industry professionals that became my friends through the years. And I invite all kinds of different entrepreneurial mindset people, if they're really good in something, anything from AI to mindset to finances to investments. I mean, Anderson, Toby is in there, right? That teaches us how to not only market and build our brands and make our money, but what to do with that money, how to invest it, how to protect it, right? This is where Anderson comes in. And everything in between, from systems to processes to mindset, you name it, we do trainings on it. If you would like to become a member at a 10% discount, please scan this right here. It's going to take you to a page to sign up. Not only that you're going to get a 10% discount to the GoGo membership, but you're also going to get a free Anderson Advisor 45-minute call. I have been an Anderson user for the last probably 3 or 4 years now. All of these things that you see up here, those little black things, and these little black things, I don't have for my new companies anymore, but I used to get them for all of my companies. I like seeing them. I like to see things as I achieve them, right? This is all Anderson's doing. All the way, the systems and the LLCs and the S Corps and all of the holding companies and all of that, all set up by LLC. Our trust is set up all set up by Anderson. Our trust is set up by Anderson. I have an asset planner, a tax attorney, a business planner, you name it. I have it. I love them. They have changed my life. I sleep good at night. And this is why you guys are all getting a 10% discount. If you would like to continuously learn from me, I would love to have you. This is what I enjoy. God has changed my life, and my duty is to help you change yours with the knowledge that I have accumulated and the relationships that I have accumulated through the years. So thank you so much for having me here today, Toby. I hope this was helpful.
Yeah, this was very helpful. And I just want to say, everybody, give GoGo a big thumbs up. Oh, they're giving you hearts too. So thumbs up and hearts, and maybe some whatever. It looks like an ice cream cone, but I think it's confetti.
Thank you, guys. So please scan it super quick. I'm going to stop sharing. I'll give you 3 more seconds. There we go. Awesome.
And we're going to give you guys the link. And by the way, there's more than just GoGo's 10% off. We're also going to include a free consult with you. A lot of you guys I know are starting up businesses. And what I'm going to go over here next, let me see. I don't know. Can you guys see the screen with a bunch of comments that you guys sent in during this event? Can you guys see that?
Oh, that's awesome. Someone said that it's super fast paced. I
We're
know.
gonna send that.
I get so excited when I talk about things. I want to get to the end of it. And I had so many slides for you guys and I didn't get to the end of it. But I think it's my excitement, really, and on top of that, I have an accent. So I'm sorry. When you get the recording, you can pause it.
Yes, you could. I
And
don't
then
know if you could
digest
slow
what
it
I
down.
said and then play it again.
Do you have 5 minutes or do you have to run?
No, I can. I can take like maybe 10. So Q&A if you guys want to do
Yep.
that.
Let's do this really quickly. So first off, you guys need to know, here's what it looks like when you click on that link. There's a link and you could just sign up. There's nothing to buy. You're literally going in and you're doing just putting in your information. You're getting the code so that you can sign up for GoGo's Go Get 'em webinars. And I strongly advise you to do so. How many videos are in there? Because it's huge.
So yes, we are growing. So every week we release a new training, and then once a month you guys have a live with me directly that we do Q&A at the end. And I think we are standing at 70 some videos. And we have an app so you can listen kind of like podcast style too. But as time is going, we are keep adding. So eventually my goal with this is going to be like a university with each different buckets. Like, so we have social media marketing and branding and AI and technologies and systems and processes. And we literally give you, like, if we are teaching something, we literally give you, if I'm talking about a spreadsheet, I'm giving you the spreadsheet, right? So it's not like you have to go and now build it. And also in the next few months, so you guys are getting in a very, I haven't mentioned this, but if you allow me, Toby, I will. We are turning this into a community. So it's going to have a Facebook group. You're going to have access to my VAs. You can ask them anything. You're going to have tech support every single Tuesday or Thursday. We haven't decided what day is going to be on. It's literally going to be a whole community. We also can build your funnels and websites. So all of this is being worked in the background. The first 250 people who get in now, which by the way, we are at 100 something already. So 100 and some odd more. The first 250 you guys get in, you're going to get it at $49. You're going to stay at that price as long as you're going to be with me 10 years from now. Everybody else, as we are hitting higher numbers, like at 500, we're going to go to probably 79. At 750, we're going to go to 100 and so on and forth. Because think of it this way, since I give access to my team, I'm going to have a larger team over time to benefit, to make sure we can take care of all of our listeners and all of our members. So that's pretty much what it is. I love teaching. I think God created me to help share my knowledge with others. And if I can have a little portion of your success over time, I did what God created me to do.
So less than $50 a month, you're going to get access. You guys are crazy not to. And just to sweeten the pie, we're going to do our 45-minute, we're going to go through the risk reduction formula with you, which you'll learn about here in a second, and make sure that you're not overpaying your taxes. Make sure that you're protecting what you're creating and paying the least amount that you would owe legally to Uncle Sam. So we don't say evasion, right? We use avoidance, which is perfectly legal, and we're going to pay the least amount. Any American can do that. You can't not pay your taxes. The people that do that weird trust stuff or like, hey, I have a trust that says I don't have to pay tax, that's usually bunk. We've helped a few prosecutions on that, believe it or not. When they come and try to prey on our clients, I like to just report them. And there's actually 10 people under an indictment right now from that. That's
There's
horrible.
so many times I'll watch a TikTok or something and I send it to Toby. I'm like, how about this? And he goes, that comes with an orange suit. And I was like, okay, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, that comes with the orange jumpsuit. You get a special. All right, let's go through some questions though, since I only got you for a minute. This was from way in the beginning, and somebody says, what if you don't want to use your name or picture yet to ensure your current job doesn't discover your account that is similar to the work you do and terminate? Do you have anybody where you use like just a logo or something, or do they really need their face?
I mean, is this going to be a service or is it a product that you are selling? I think that would be my question. If it's a product you are selling, anybody can sell that. What do I care? Call it, what did I say? Puppies for, or, shoes for puppies. Call it that, right? Whatever the product is, you can absolutely sell a product without a face attached to it. If it's a service,
go ahead.
Yeah, if it's a service, I would say you're going to have a hard time.
I immediately registered GoGo's puppy shoes, by the way, so I'll sell it to you. Why must it be a picture with names? How do you deal with biases? In other words, people are probably worried that depending on their race or gender or whatever, that there's concern. Is that an issue that you've seen?
I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but I really could care less about people's opinion. One of my favorite quote is, I start caring about your opinion as soon as I can deposit it into my bank account, which is never, right? People are going to have an opinion about you. There are racist people in the world. Like I can only imagine the stuff people say about my accent, or the fact that I'm a woman, or the fact that half the time these things are out, right? So for me, I truly just don't care what people think, and you shouldn't either, because you cannot send your child to college on their opinion. You cannot use it as down payment on a condo. And the faster you get over what other people think, the faster you're going to print money.
Yep, I agree. Do you recommend using both a business number VoIP and or business cell phone?
So I do have two, neither one I actually put out there for the public anymore, but I would strongly recommend to have two if you can. So then this way you will have a personal cell phone. So if this one rings, I know I have to answer it because this is someone who personally knows me. It could be my child who's type 1 diabetic. If he calls, I answer it even if I'm unalive. If my mom calls, I answer it because who knows what's happening, right? But when you have a business number and that rings after 9 o'clock, I don't even know where my business phone is, to be honest with you guys. It's somewhere out there. It's fine wherever it is. I get to it when I get to it, right? So yes, I would recommend it. The second reason why, that business number should be tied to a CRM program. So every phone number, every email that you ever get, every text that you ever get automatically dumps into your CRM program. So you have their information for the rest of your life. You can email them, text them, put them on a drip campaign, do whatever you want. So tie it to a CRM program. We use KV Core. KV Core has its own phone number, like you can purchase through KV Core, but there are many other ways you can do. I'm just not in other things, right? I'm in real estate mostly as a realtor. So KV Core is what we use for that.
Yep. How do I intertwine my brand if I'm on a team? And it sounds like they're eXp Realty team, and I use my team leads brand as well.
Okay, so what I do, I'm a team lead too. So I have a team in Michigan that's called GoGo's Real Estate Team. And the agents on my team, they have to post onto their personal profile all the time as well. So they have their own brand. So if it's Jessica Smith on GoGo's Real Estate Team, then it's Jessica Smith on GoGo's Real Estate Team. She posts on her own, but she also forwards that to the official GoGo's Real Estate Team Facebook page. This is not how most team leads do it, because most team leads don't want to lose their agents. I'm the opposite. If someone's ready to flee the nest, they're like they're little bird babies and they are ready because they've grown up, I want them to go off. I would teach them how to grow a team, because that will grow me in the same way, right? So I'm not holding people down because I don't want to lose them. I want to set them up for success. So from day one, they have their own account, their own brand. So when they're ready to flee, they are ready to go because they've grown up. They're no longer a little chicken. They're ready to fly. Now, I'll be honest with you, that's not how most team leads do it. So your team lead might not like the idea for you to have your own account, because as soon as you do and you learn how to lead generate, they're going to lose you, right? So the advice I'm giving you, your team lead might not like it.
And somebody asked a follow-up on that too. I think it's related, but it's a different person. If they're a realtor and they're on a team, would they still have their own Google business page? I'm assuming yes. They're going to brand
so when you're a licensed realtor, right? Like you're a licensed realtor, you have your own license. You're not under the team license. You have your own license. So yes, I would still do a Google My Business for yourself.
Somebody says, if we are in direct sales, for example, would you recommend attraction marketing? I don't know what this is, but your assistant Lindsay marked it to be answered.
So I'm not sure. What do you? I hope I could ask you, or I wish I could ask you. What is direct? What type? Like, is it a product? Is it a service? What are you selling in that direct sales?
Let's just say direct sales. I always think of vacuum cleaners. That's probably wrong. That's
Door,
probably
yeah, they come door to door.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Hey.
So let's say if it's vacuum cleaner, comment about Google. No, somebody, I was hoping that they put into the chat box. So absolutely, because like I'm in direct sales, right? Like I'm selling homes to individuals. It's a one-on-one conversation, so sad. So with that being said, absolutely. Can another realtor sell that same vacuum? Can another person sell that same vacuum cleaner? Yes. But when someone goes online to try to figure out who should they buy it from, you should be an option. So yes, everything that you do should be under your brand. So it should be your name, that whatever, that your name.com, right? And under that, like gogobethke.com, I have GoGo webinars, I have podcasts, I do public speaking, I have a local team, I have a 1,500 agent nationwide organization, I have 2 online boot camps, you name it, I have it. So you as one person can do it all. So if you build a brand under yourself, even if you're direct selling a product today that you don't have the excitement 2 years from now, then you just switch whatever you're selling, but it's still under the brand.
That's really good. And then this is a really good question from Belinda. Excellent training, overwhelming. What are the first 3 things that you recommend for somebody that already has an underused Facebook business page, underused Google business account, underused Instagram? top 3 things to lay the foundation. And if I could interrupt you, I'm going to say, sign up for Go Get 'em webinars. That's pretty easy, right? This is not a race that's 10 minutes. This is something you're going to start to do for decades. Make sure that you are doing things systematically. And then I'm going to hand it to you, GoGo.
Yeah, so what I said, the fundamentals, right? The image and the name, is it the same on every single platform? That's what I would start with. Number 2 is consistency. So if you decide to do something, you have to do it all the time, right? People ask me, GoGo, how often should I post? My answer is, how often do you want to see results? If you want to see results every 2 days, post every 2 days. If you want to see it once a month, post every month. So it's super simple. Decide to do it and just do it. It is really that simple. And the more you use a system, you're like, well, I don't know what button to push. I didn't know what button to push. I just pushed it. Like, be like that annoying 3-year-old that just pushes it and see what happens when you push it.
All right, one last question. And sorry, guys, there's a whole bunch more that you guys just asked, but I'm not going to get to them. I'm going to let maybe your assistant can answer a few when you're gone. Who inspired you the most as a coach or mentor, other than me? Like, I'm just kidding.
Aww,
I'm just teasing you.
I do love Toby. I love when he answers my calls, right? And I do have a million questions. And sometimes I ask him, okay, now explain it to me in a scenario or bring it down to my level of English. Because even though I got really good at making money, guys, there's different levels, different devils. When you learn to make the money, you also have to learn what to do with it. And you also have to learn how to protect it. And you also need to learn how to invest it. And you might get into a situation where people offer you shares and stocks and whatnot, and you don't even know what the difference is between them. Like, I didn't know. This is why you have people like Toby in your life, right? But what was the original question? I just wanted to tell him
Who is the most important coach or mentor?
So I will give credit to a few different people. One would be Oprah. So I started my soul searching around age 29. And at that time, Oprah had one thing that was called Super Soul Sunday and another thing that was called Masterclass. I watched every single episode, and I literally have a book, and I would write down what talked to me. When something talks to you, there is a reason why it talks to you. It talks to you because you're supposed to be doing something about it. You're supposed to implement it. You're supposed to take that lesson and put it into motion. So Oprah's Super Soul Sunday and Masterclass. Then I found Dr. Wayne Dyer, and I absolutely love Dr. Wayne Dyer. He's no longer with us. He's no longer alive, but he was an amazing mindset soul coach. If you can find any videos of him, Dr. Wayne Dyer, I absolutely love him. And then lastly would be Tony Robbins, and not Leslie in that order, but he changed my life. He's still alive and he's amazing, and you can go and watch him in person. I have gone to UPW, which is Unleash the Power Within, multiple times, because there's all kinds of power within us that we just kind of sit on it stagnant because we don't have the power to take action, and he will bring it out of you. So Tony Robbins would be that. And then, of course, books. I want to give you 2 of my favorite books, and then I leave you with that. Number 1 would be The Greatest Salesman in the World by OG Mendino, his name. And then the next one is out in my living room because I'm punishing my 14-year-old with it right now. It's called Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. So I'm sure all of you know about Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Outwitting the Devil is it's even better than that. So Outwitting the Devil, Napoleon Hill actually interviews the devil and asks questions how the devil works. I had to read this book out to myself loud to understand it. It will blow your mind.
Fantastic. All right, GoGo, you take off. You go have a great evening.
Thank you, guys.
And thanks again. Everybody give her some love. Give her a good send off. And then I'm going to talk taxes and business to you.
And you guys better listen, because you're going to work so hard to make that money. And if you don't have teams like the Anderson's team that can protect it and save it for you, you're going to.
I know I'm going to lose half the group.
Piss out about 37%.
All right, let's do
Bye,
this.
guys. Thank you for having me.
Thanks again, GoGo. She's absolutely fantastic, guys, and I hope you really got something out of this. We don't bring just anybody on to these events. I've been working with GoGo for years, and she actually, she nails it. She knows what she's doing. She's into the micro. She's not up here telling you some theory. She'll actually show you exactly what to do step by step. And what you'll find is that's everything that she does, all her team. They'll literally walk you through step by step how to do this. I've tried this. I've actually got certified years ago with Google AdWords because I couldn't understand what the people were telling me and talking to me about with Google and their algorithms until I actually did it. And the only way you're ever going to learn to do something is by doing it. even if you're going to hand this off to a team, learn the steps yourself so that you can work with your team. All right, speaking of team, let's build some knowledge here on how the legal and tax situation works whenever you get into business. So a lot of you guys, I saw your hourlies were 0, and we're going to fix that. We're going to start developing a social media presence, and the sooner that you start doing that and you follow the steps. And I'm a guy, I have a YouTube channel, over 300,000 subscribers too. My partner Clint is in the same area, along with all of our other social medias. We're not kings at this, we're not millions, right? But we still have large followings. And what you find is it's all about content creation and something that you care about and something that you can help people out. And it's all about giving. It's give, 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 give. There's a receive somewhere in there. And it's usually when somebody asks you, how do I do more? And so I used to have an easy philosophy called give, 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 get. And it might be give, 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 get. Like you literally want somebody asking you, how do I become your client? And that's ultimately the trick. But if we're building something that's going to generate income, I'm going to look at it from two sides. I'm going to look at it saying, I want to make sure that if I build something valuable, somebody can't take it away from me. Because believe it or not, if you start building things with value, there's somebody out there that might say, hey, I really like that. And it could be your business, believe it or not, that they could actually take that. So one of the things that I always look at is what's the worst thing that could happen to me if I'm engaged in a business? And one of the worst things that could happen to me in any type of investment or any type of business is that I do something that creates liability and they garnish me for the rest of my life. And if you think that that's a false statement, you don't understand how the bankruptcy code works. I've garnished folks in a previous life when I was just a regular lawyer going after folks. I had one gal, she destroyed a friend of mine's dad's rental unit. Like she took a ball hammer out and just smashed through the walls and walked away. She was mad because she got evicted because her son was selling drugs, and she did not like the fact that she was called out on the fact that her son was the neighborhood drug dealer, and everybody was driving up to that house all the time. And the landlord said, you know what, this is too long. I'm not going to renew your lease. Like, it's not like he kicked him out on the street, but he just says no more. So she trashed the place with the ball hammer. She ended up admitting it because some lawyer, me, was questioning her during a bankruptcy proceeding. She tried to bankrupt it. She couldn't because she intentionally smashed holes into the wall and admitted so under oath. So I garnished her for I think it was a little over 11 years. Every paycheck, every month. She worked for Boeing and it was up in Seattle, and we got every nickel out of her. But that's a case where somebody did it and they intended to do it. Like they're a bad actor. What you don't want is somebody trying to do that to you when you're not a bad actor. And they could allege anything and everything nowadays. And you want to make sure that you are not victimized by it. And there's a couple ways that we look at it. There's inside liability, which let's just say that I am, here's a business. Oops. Let's say that I have a business, ABC Plumbing, and you're in here working for the business. I'm going to give you a wrench. That looks like a wrench. Oh, that's horrible. I don't know what that is. And then you're also out here as an individual. Inside liability is you create a flood unintentionally. You forget to seal a pipe inside the wall. It disconnects, dumps water everywhere, and they sue you. And what you want is that lawsuit to stay inside this box. It's pinging around, but there's no way that it can come out here and get to you, your house, your car. You know, maybe you have some retirement accounts, maybe you have some savings. You want to make sure that that's sealed off. And the way we do that is by using an entity. And the entity that most people know is an LLC or a corporation. And I'll go over these here in a second. But we want to make sure that somebody can't get outside of that box. So whenever I see, whenever I'm talking to somebody about exposure, I'm saying, ask yourself the question, what's the worst thing that could happen? Maybe if I'm online and somebody decides that you're selling a defective merchandise, or maybe you're providing a service and someone just decides that they're going to rile everybody up against you and they're all going to sue you. And you're like, oh my gosh, how do I pull the plug? And by the way, if you think this isn't happening, I would point you to Exhibit A, the realtors out there. I know that I pulled this up just because Coco's a realtor, but a lot of her folks are realtors. Yeah, they're getting just absolutely attacked right now for commissions, right? And so there's been billion-dollar suits against some of the organizations, and it's just a matter of time before somebody starts trying to take out some of the agents. And you want to make sure that it stays inside the box. On the outside of the box is, let's say that I do something. I run into, I went to Catholic school, so excuse my example. I run into a busload of nuns and they just sue the heck out of me. So I'm going to make a bus, pretend, and I'm not against, here, I'll make it a nice little bus. There's the bus. And man, are they mad? I slam into them and they decide to sue me, and they're looking for big money. I don't want them to take my business. There's ways to protect your business. This is called outside liability. Just to make it more real for you, it could be your teenage child goes out and get into a car accident. We see that one happen quite often. Or you get sued for something like a car accident that you did, nothing that you intended to do, but they look at your car, they look at your house, they look at this, they look at that, and they look at your business. And if your business isn't protected, they will take it. If your business is not protected from a charging order standpoint, in other words, they can foreclose on your interest in your LLC, they will sell its assets, including your customer database. Like if you're building up something that's valuable, especially if you're using the social media strategies that GoGo's using, you have intellectual property. You have something that's valuable, and you don't want it to be easy pickings for someone to try to take. In my world, I tend to use anonymity planning, and I'll show you how that works. So just the reality of the world is that there's lawyers out there right now. I have a very good friend in Las Vegas who runs a insurance agency. And as of right now, the number of claims that they get per accident is 90% are filed. In other words, we have billboard lawyers all over the place. I always crack up because when I go to Texas, I always see the Hammer, right? There's this guy, the Hammer. And I'm always thinking like, who's picking up a phone going, I want to hire the Hammer? It's probably somebody who's really like, hey, I think I have a sore neck. I want the Hammer. Right, but they're hiring these people and they're going after folks. She also said the one thing you never tell anybody when you're in a car accident is I'm a doctor, right? You just increased your chances of getting sued exponentially. So like, don't tell them what you do. Don't tell them that you're valuable, but it's still going to happen. There's nothing we can do to get out of it. If you think that maybe you stay in home all day and you don't try to offend anybody, that maybe, but then you'd still have to keep your family in the house with you, right? There's just exposure that we get as individuals. And it's not something that we did. It's, again, just think of all the realtors out there. And right now there's multi-billion-dollar verdicts coming out against the organizations. And we're going to see how it trickles down to the individual agents eventually. There's stuff out there that's just crazy. So I want you to visualize this. If somebody's walking down the street at night and there's your house and it is filled with something valuable. This one looks like gold, right? It's not gold. It's actually just well lit, and anybody could see inside that house. And they look inside your window, and this is what they see. What do you think might happen? Put it in the chat. If you had a house on your street, and this is what you saw when you looked inside it, what do you think might happen to that cash? Do you think somebody might try to take it? Yeah, you're going to get robbed. You're just begging. Yeah, if everybody can see what you have and they know that it's not well protected, like here, the only thing I could think of is maybe you open up the back door and make it even more inviting. But here you're just saying, you might say, hey, you know what? I'm just going to put it into, they would break it and get shot. I love that. Yeah, don't entice the robbers, right? Because you want to practice shooting. You might be gone. You may not be there, right? Just don't leave the cash sitting on your kitchen table. But you might want to stick your valuables in a safe, right? Except when this happens, right? Robbers know that safes have things of value. How do I know? I had this happen to my house about 15 years ago. I had my windows replaced, and I knew that, like, I was just worried that somebody was going to case my house because it wasn't there. And I emptied my safe out, and the next week the safe disappeared. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. Somebody literally cut it out of it was attached to the floor. It was all this good stuff, but sometimes they take the safe. So I don't want your stuff being out there where they could take it. So what we want to do is make sure that we are creating a plan. Here's what we do. We look at your personal realm. We look at your business realm. We look at your non-risk asset realm. And by the way, this is really your passive and investment side. And this is your active personal side. This is your sweat of your brow. I'm just going to put active. You have your non-risk assets, and this is like your stocks. You know, somebody's not going to step on your Microsoft share and sue you because they slipped and hurt themselves. This is your bonds. This could be your savings. This could be your money market. This could be your crypto, gold, etc. Right? You're just gonna, this is stuff that does not create liability because you own it. Then you have your risk. I'm just going to say non-asset, non-risk, excuse me. So this is your risk asset. And the best example I can give you is having some rental properties. In your personal realm, you're going to have your home, your car, maybe you have a boat. Pretend that's a boat. God, horrible today. Maybe you have your checking account, right? You have your personal stuff, and then you have your business. And this is what we were talking about today. You have your intellectual property. You have stuff that you are doing where you're creating value. And so your business brand is what we talked about today. Well, that's worth something. And so all asset protection planning is creating boxes around these things. We create boxes around them so that the liability stays inside and we create protection from the outside. So for example, individually, I can never stop the liability. I drive a car, they're going to sue me, they're going to get here. This box is actually what we call a living trust. It's more estate planning. There's no asset protection. If something happens here, they're going to come out and look into these other areas. And what I need to make sure is that A, they can't find it. I'm a big anonymity buff. So when I think of the stocks and bonds and stuff, I think of this. I think of burying your safe in the desert so nobody can find it. Even if they can find it, they can't take it. And we use Wyoming for that. It actually has something called a charging order protection that prevents them from being able to take it. So I like to stick my non-risk assets in a Wyoming LLC. When I make money in a business, I know that there's inside liability that I cannot escape. There's just nothing I can do if I'm out there in business. I also have outside liability where they might try to take that business. So the easiest thing I can do to make sure nobody ever messes with me is periodically take the cash out of the business. Do not own assets in your business. Make sure you are getting that assets out. And I don't care if you're investing in real estate. I don't care if you're putting it in stocks, crypto, gold. Get it out of that box and into a safe that's buried in the desert. That's really what I want. And if you're looking at the real estate going, well, how do you bury that in the desert? It's really easy. We create LLCs around the real estate in the state, and then we have it also held by a Wyoming LLC. And the reason that we do that is because nobody can see the Wyoming LLC. Nobody can take the Wyoming LLC. You're going to say, well, can't they see these LLCs? Not if you set it up the way we teach you. We could have let's say we're in Indiana. I could have an Indiana LLC that is owned by the Wyoming LLC that has no trace back to you. In other words, you could have your face, your smiling face all over social media. And like we could look at GoGo and think, GoGo's got money. You won't be able to find anything she has. You might be able to see her house where she has an unlimited homestead in Florida. That's possibly. For the most part, I don't think you're going to be able to find anything on her. And most of our clients, we actually like to take their personal residences and create anonymity around that too. I have a very good friend who's a client. He's a psychiatrist. And the last thing he wants is some of his patients coming to his house. A lot of them have prescriptions. Some of these prescriptions are strong, and they always want more. They always want more. They always want more. Some of them are a little, little bit erratic behaving. And the last thing he wants is somebody showing up at his house with his wife and him at 11 p.m. So they're not going to be able to find his house. We have it in an anonymity shield. We used a personal residence privacy trust. It's actually really simple to set up, and it keeps their name off of it. So all we are doing here is making sure that if you are sticking your face out there, that we are keeping it inside of a box, and we're making sure somebody else can't track all the things you have back to you. This is really important. We want to make sure that you are keeping yourself protected. We don't want you out there where you could find yourself in trouble. So again, it looks like this. This is what we do with you. This is what is going to be complimentary for you today. If you want to, Kate, if you share the link, that gives them the 10% off of GoGo's program, the Go Get 'em webinars. You also get a free consultation with one of our attorneys or advisors, where they are going to do this for you. They're going to break down your personal assets. They are going to break down your business assets. And they're going to look at your non-risk investments, and they're going to look at your risk investments. This is your rental real estate, risk investments. And you're going to see that they're going to put a structure around you. Let's say that I have a bunch of cash and a bunch of stocks. It might look something like this. Let's say I have a bunch of real estate. And before you freak out and you say, you're telling me that I'm going to have an LLC for every piece of real estate? No, I'm not going to tell you that. It's going to depend on your situation. If you have 4 houses and that's the extent of your investments in real estate, it would really hurt to lose 2 or 3 of those. So we might separate them. If you have 50 properties, we may be okay breaking them into groups of 5 or 6, right? It just depends what's going to be in your best interest. And we're going to have this. This is exactly how it's going to look. We're going to have probably a Wyoming LLC here. And that's if you have assets. If you do not have much, it's you over here and you're like, I am just getting started out. I rent a house, so I don't own a home, but maybe I have a car, and that's you. Then this next section on taxes is going to become really important, because how we set up this business is going to have a major impact on what type of taxes we pay on that income. If you make an extra $10,000 and you're in the 22% tax bracket, you're making 100 grand or whatever, and we can prevent you from having any tax on that 10,000, then that saves you $2,200 a year. When you're getting started, that makes a huge difference. And so that's where our tax conversation comes in. And in taxes, I always get this. There's people that are like, so-and-so paid no tax. I want to pay no tax. And I'm going to say it's really tough to grow as an investor if you have no income. You're not going to be lendable. Nobody's going to loan you money. You're not going to be able to buy a house for yourself. You need to have some income. And besides, there's a 10% tax bracket. There's a 12% tax bracket. This is federal. There's a 22% tax bracket. There's a 24% tax bracket. Then you get up into the 30s. The top tax bracket is 37%. I'm okay in those first two, the 10%, the 12%, even up to about the 22%. What I care about is being below 20% total tax. I'm okay with that. And it really depends on a few factors as to how I'm going to get taxed. The entity choice is going to have a huge impact. The type of income is going to have a huge impact. And I'm just going to kind of explain it like this. There are over 20,000 pages of Internal Revenue Code. They are examining this last year. They just came out with another publication. It's about 1 out of every 500 returns gets examined. You should not be sweating the IRS. What you should realize is that they're trying to get you to comply with fear. And the way that we cure fear is with knowledge. And so what really comes down to it is getting yourself some tax knowledge will alleviate the fear. They're not going to examine your return anyway, and it gives you the ability to be a little more aggressive. So it all comes down to arming yourself with some basic understanding and some gold nuggets. That's what we're going to look for. So when I look at the tax system, I'm very much aware that there's two tax systems. I'm going to use an example. How many of you guys have ever flown into Orlando Airport? Give me a thumbs up if you've ever gone to Orlando Airport. A whole bunch of you guys. There's a bunch of thumbs up. All right. So you flew in. I'm going to draw a plane. This looks like, well, that's kind of backwards, isn't it? Let's pretend that's a plane. I didn't go to art school. Okay, there's a plane. I pretend that there's a wheel under there. But you're driving to go to see, who's this guy out here? Who lives in Orlando that everybody wants to go see? That's what he looks like, right? So we are going to drive to Disney. You leave the Orlando airport, and there's this road that takes you right to Disney. All the signs will say this way, and you follow them. And along the way, they have these little things that take a nice little picture of your license plate, and they're called toll booths. There's all these little tolls as you're driving. Toll booth. There we go. Unbeknownst to a lot of people, there's actually a road right outside the airport that takes you to Disney that is free. You take the surface road at Sand Lake Road. You can actually Google it. It used to be, before Google Maps, you just had to know somebody that was there to tell you, hey, if you don't want to pay the tolls, you can stop at some stoplights, right? And you could drive the surface street. It'll take you right there. It might take you an extra 10 minutes. But you'd save yourself a few dollars. That's the tax code. The tax code, all of the signs will take us to more taxes. But all you have to know is a couple of the secret ways to get to those savings. And, you know, the savings, I've been using AI again. This is like, draw me a happy taxpayer. And this is what they come up with. That's what the free road looks like. If you like money, if you like keeping a little more of your money, that's what it is. And there are a ton of little provisions out there. Spend some time with us. We will show them to you. If you haven't gone to the tax and asset protection event, make sure that you sign up. We do them almost every week. And we have Tax Tuesdays where you can get on, and I do these with Elliot and Barley and some of the other attorneys and accountants. And we go on and we answer questions all the time, absolutely free. Just go to our website, just look for Tax Tuesday, or better yet, go to my YouTube channel. Just type in Toby Mathis YouTube, and you'll see that every other week we do Tax Tuesday, absolutely free. And you can come in there and we answer about 10 to 15 questions live. And you can ask questions. We have probably 10, 15 accountants on there and attorneys, and we're answering questions that you ask. Why do we do it? Because taxes can be really scary. And again, the way that you overcome fear is with knowledge. So the better we can educate people, the less fear they'll have, the more empowerment they will feel, and the more money they will save. That's just fact. So there's a ton of little strategies out there. I'm going to go over a couple that you could use right away. And the first thing is to understand that there's a difference in the way different income is taxed. So if I make earned income, I get taxed federal taxes. It's called ordinary. It's 0 to 37%. It's what all of us get used to. It's called ordinary tax. But I also get hit with something called Social Security. And it is 15.3%. And if you don't think that's a big deal, you should take a look at some of the returns. We'll show you how to avoid a big chunk of that Social Security if you have your own business. But a lot of people don't know any better. This is also called the self-employment tax, because all people that are sole proprietors have to pay 100% of their income. Any of their net income, they pay that tax on, and it can get really expensive. So we have earned income being the worst type of tax treatment, period, right? There's nothing worse than earned income. And if you're not careful, that's how they're going to treat your business. I can show you how to get around it here in a second. The second type of income is something called portfolio income. And this is really investments. And so this is the money that you make on interest. This is the money that you make on royalties. This is the money that you make on dividends. This is the money that you make on capital gains. And here's how they're taxed. Interest is taxed at ordinary. No Social Security. Royalties are taxed as ordinary. No Social Security. Royalties, I tend to think of oil and gas. When you're extracting and selling oil, you're getting a royalty. Sometimes you're investing in intellectual property, you're getting licensing fees. It could be a royalty. The only time royalties are not treated that way is if you're the creator and it's treated as earned income. If you're making it, like you get an advance on a book or something and you're writing a book, you might have earned income because you're actually doing the work. But if I'm investing in things that create a royalty, I'm at ordinary tax. Dividends, if they're qualified, they're 0 to 20%. They're taxed as long-term capital gains. And immediately you should be pointing out, like, wait a second, I'm going to put a little star next to that. It's taxed at like half the rate of ordinary taxes. Yep. If you're a married couple making less than $90,000 a year, your long-term capital, your dividends are taxed at 0. Isn't that crazy? Sometimes just knowing that can change your behaviors and get you earning some more money. And again, no Social Security. Capital gains, there's 2 types. There's short-term, which is holding things less than 1 year, and that is taxed as ordinary. Then you have long-term, which is greater than 1 year, and it's taxed at 0, 15, or 20%. That's about as deep as I'm going to get into that. There's capital losses and all that stuff. The last type of income is called passive income. And there's 2 types. There's rents, which are taxed as ordinary. And there's businesses without participation. You're a silent owner. And I'm just bringing these up because you can see that there's a difference. The main 3 types of income are right here. You get an MBA today just by knowing those 3 things. If all I know is that these are treated differently, we've already won. Because then you could start thinking critically when you're looking at investments. How is it taxed? You can start thinking critically when you're making money going, wait a second, am I going to get hit twice? Like I use myself as an example. I worked for McDonald's like in 1986. Just dated myself probably. 85, 86, right around there. I got $4.15 an hour. I had withholding and I had Social Security taxes, right? So if I made $4 an hour, how many of you guys worked for $4 or $5 an hour? Give me a thumbs up if you ever worked for $4 or $5 an hour, right? A bunch of us. You would work 40 hours and you think you're going to get $200 and they gave you like 160, right? You remember those days when you're looking at your check and you have a good cry after you got it? You're like, who the heck is FUTA and SUTA and OADSI and Medicare and withholding? What are these people and why are they taking my money? That's because it was earned income. What we could do, first job 315, you got me beat, Steve. What we can do is your business will be treated, it's going to default like right up here. If everything that you're doing as a business person is going to default unless we take a chance and we change the type of tax treatment. And the way we do that, I always say that we call it a trilogy, is you file something with the state, that's LLCs, corporations, etc. We document it with an operating agreement or bylaws. We make sure that it looks the way that a judge or a bank or an auditor or an investor wants to look. This is the body of it. And then we choose how it's going to be taxed. And we have a whole bunch of choices. Here's what you're looking at. With the state, we could file a corporation. We could file an LLC. We have different types of limited partnerships, limited liability partnerships, limited liability limited partnerships. There's some filed trusts, statutory trusts, and there's DBAs. All of those are at our disposal, but none of them have anything to do with how it's taxed as a federal level as a matter of course. I could set up a corporation and I could be taxed as an S or a C corp. I could set up an LLC and I could be taxed as a individual, a partnership, an S corp, a C corp, even a nonprofit, or a trust. If I set up a limited partnership, I'm really going to be stuck with just partnership. If I just go out there and do business, I'm going to be just an individual. And here's the thing, they're treated way differently from a business standpoint. If you are doing business, you're going to want to be taxed as either an S or a C corp, unless you are making less than $20,000, because the money starts, like, you'll see the math here in a second. If you're making less than $20,000, then the tax savings typically are going to be about $1,500 a year. But there's a cost to set it up. There's a cost to do the tax return, and it starts to defeat itself, right? So I really want to see people that are making 20, 25, 30,000 and definitely go the S or a C. If you think you're going to get there, then you might want to start off, and you could be an S corp proper, you could be a C corp proper, you could be an LLC taxed as an S corp, you could be an LLC taxed as a C corp, and this is why it's so different. It gives you the opportunity to do something called an accountable plan. And let me give you an example. If you are out there paying for one of these, a cell phone, and you paid $1,000 for the phone, or whatever you're paying, $200-300 a month, if you have an accountable plan, your business can deduct and reimburse you for that entire cost, the cost of the phone and the cost of the data, the cost of making calls, whatever. If you do not have an accountable plan and you are an individual and you're acting as a sole proprietor, you have to track business calls versus personal calls, and you can only write off the business calls. This stinks. So that accountable plan gives us a huge benefit. Let me give you a couple of examples, and I'll draw up I'll put up some numbers so you can see the difference. Let's just say I want to deduct my office commute, and you're a realtor or you're a small business person and you have an office across town. You cannot deduct the travel that when you leave your house and you go to that business. That's called commuting time, and you don't get to write it off. There's a way around it, and that's if you have a home office. If you have a secondary office and you're a sole proprietor, you're toast. If you have an accountable plan, you can have an administrative office in your home. The company can reimburse you for that entire cost, and the calculation is actually pretty crazy. A typical room that I'm writing off as a sole proprietor is about $750 a year. If I set up that same structure with an S corp or a C corp and it reimburses me for that room, it's about $7,000 a year. There's a difference of over $6,000 a year in deduction. And depending on your tax bracket, you can do the math to see how much it would save you. If I'm in the 22% tax bracket, it's saving me over $1,200 a year, simply by incorporating. Well, the same is true here. Once I establish a home office, now anytime I drive out of that home and I'm traveling to where I have my secondary office, maybe I'm a realtor, maybe I'm doing a business, maybe, whatever, fill in the blank. Once I leave my home and I drive between offices, now I can reimburse myself. It's 67 cents a mile right now. So it may not seem much. Let's say it's 10 miles each day. And if I do 10 times 67, what does that equal? Oh, 10 times 0.67. So I can write off $6.70 a day. I start adding up all that time or all that miles. That's a pretty low mileage amount. Let's say that I did 2,000 miles a year. That's still a reimbursement. What would I be at? About 2,000 miles times. I'd still be able to write myself a check for $1,340 that I wouldn't have otherwise. Like, that is a deductible expense to that business. If I'm a realtor, you're probably putting on 30,000 miles. just do the math on that one. Let's say that I'm doing 30,000 miles and I'm writing off everything because I'm leaving my house. That's a $20,000 a year reimbursement. That means I don't pay tax on that 20,000 and it's in my personal checking account. I don't have to report it because it's an accountable plan. Let me show you how this works numbers wise. There's a whole bunch of these. So let's say that we have Sally and John, and they both make $100,000 a year. That's really what they're grossing. John is a sole proprietor. He doesn't do anything. He just does the easy way. About 70% of businesses are John. What he would get is for his home office, he would get a $750 deduction. Sally would get about, I'm just going to say 5,000, although we've seen him higher. Depends on your facts and circumstances. It's usually about 20% of all the costs associated with your house, your utilities, your property taxes, cleaner, your interest that you're paying on your mortgage or your all that stuff, your property taxes. I can reimburse about 20% of it. So you add all that stuff up. John, let's just say that we have a cell. John can write off, he writes off about $1,400 a year for his cell, but Sally is writing off everything associated, her data, and 100% of it. She gets a $3,600 deduction. Let's say that we have a computer. Again, John can write off the portion that's business use, so he has to track it. So let's just say he's getting $1,000 a year for that computer, whereas Sally's getting $2,500. There's something called 280A, which you'll learn about if you hang out with Anderson long enough, which is the ability to have tax-free meetings in your home. In other words, use your house 14 days or less. It's a code provision. They call it the Augusta rule. But that would give John zero. He can't do that as a sole proprietor. But as a S Corp, we'll just call Sally up here an S Corp. She's a Corp, either an S or a C. I'm just going to say S Corp because we want her to receive every dollar so she can live off of it. But let's just say she gets an extra $14,000. John, when we add all this stuff up, John is going to be paying $13,000 a year in self-employment tax. So I'm just going to call Social Security. John is going to pay $13,655 on the net. We're going to take off the 100,000 minus 750 minus 1,400 minus 1,000. He's going to pay self-employment tax of 13,000. Sally is going to pay a smaller portion because she's only going to pay employment taxes on a salary that she takes. I'm not going to dive too deep into this, but this is how it works. You take a reasonable salary, and all of the rest of the profit is not subject to self-employment tax. So just there, Sally is going to be plus $10,170 already without even trying. Plus, John is going to pay federal taxes. His total tax bill or his total income for tax purposes is $97,750. So he's going to pay federal taxes on that. It's about $19,500. So John's getting hit pretty hard. Sally, on the other hand, what is she going to be at? She, because of the extra deductions, she's only paying tax on $74,900. Hope you're kind of following along. You're going to get a copy of this recording so you can go through the numbers again, right? So Sally is going to pay total tax of $14,980. When you add up the total amount, that means Sally is going to save, oops, $14,690 per year. So the question for you, and somebody says, how do professional corporations get taxed? Under the Tax Cut and Jobs Act, they got eliminated. It's 21%, everything is. If it's a C Corp. If it's an S Corp, then it's taxed the way that I'm showing you. It flows down to your tax return. So just 1 year, we're talking about close to 15 grand on $100,000. That's the difference between doing it right, doing it wrong. Now, some of you guys might be saying, wait a second, what about little guys like me? Okay, let's just say that you're not even a business. You're both making $100,000 and you have medical expenses and you have a $6,000 medical expense. How much can you write off as an individual for your medical expenses? You can write off the amount that exceeds 7.5% of your adjusted gross income. So if you have 100,000, you can write off any amount over $7,500. So how much can you write off? Your deduction is zero deduction. And I know you guys are probably looking at me going, well, same thing for Sally. Why is she different? Well, because Sally talked to an accountant and she set up a health savings account and she put in $6,000 into the health savings account and she got a deduction. And then she used that health savings account to reimburse her medical. So at the end of the day, Sally is now paying tax on $94,000 while John is paying tax on $100,000. You guys see how that works? That little bit of difference. And I know some of you guys are already going, well, what about Schedule A? You know, what, we don't have to worry about it under this scenario. We can just use the health savings account. There's all sorts of tools like this. So let's just say it's $6,000. Let's say that we're at a 20% tax. So we're at 20%. So that's going to save you $1,200 again per year. The code is filled with these little tidbits. And by the way, Sally's kicking the pants off of John. She's just slamming him. I've been playing with AI. I couldn't resist. She's like, I rocked you. So you want to be like Sally. You don't want to be like John. You don't want to just do the default. You don't want to take the toll roads to Disney World. You want to take the free roads and actually get the tax benefits. And doing that is actually very simple for a guy like me. Like if I talk to you and my team talk to you, they would immediately start going through a list, a checklist in our head of all the low-lying fruit that you're missing. And typically when we find, like we had a client this last week that we actually did an analysis on. I'm not saying that we're going to jump in and do a full-on tax analysis during a free consult, but when we have software where we run it through and we look for over 1,500 different types of deductions, and the tax savings, not extra deductions, the tax savings are a little over 104,000. A general rule, what we're typically going to see is probably in the tax savings in the $4,000 or $5,000 range. It all depends on your situation. If you're starting up a business, very different situation than somebody who's an avid investor who has multiple business concerns, right? It all depends on your facts and circumstances, which is why we offer the consult, because we want to see kind of what your situation is and what are the low-lying fruits that we can harvest for your benefit. Now, today, hopefully you guys got a lot of value out of this. Hopefully you learned a lot from GoGo. She did a great job presenting social media. Hopefully you got some nuggets that you can take away and put into practice that are going to make you more money or make you more effective, or better yet, create income streams that you didn't realize you could actually create. I would love it if you started to engage more in social media and started turning that into a revenue generator. It really is the future. It's the way people communicate now. It's always like I talk to my mom and she's like, I don't understand how this texting stuff works. You know, if someone doesn't want to pick up the phone and call me, that I don't want to hear from them type thing, right? Okay, there's that world. And then there's the world that's communicating not just on a cell phone, but on, you know, online through multiple channels. And it could be Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Twitter, X. It goes all the way back to the beginning, right? Facebook. And you're using different social media, you're using YouTube, you're using different tools, and God knows what we're going to have in the next 2 or 3 years, right? You just want to learn this stuff so that as things progress, that you don't get washed over, so that you're able to communicate. I hope that you got something for that. And then for our part, we're also going to throw into the kitty. And by the way, these were the comments you guys had on GoGo. which I just got a kick out of. I got to go. She's insane in a good way. I like that. Great stuff. 5 stars so far. I need a GoGo for my business. Great stuff. Great info. This is the best training on social media I've ever seen. Diamonds. She is incredible. This was really fast paced. I hope you'll be sending the recordings, which we will. But our part of the program today is to show you that there's a different way to treat your business that will put more money back in your pocket and reduce the amount that you're giving to the federal government and the state government or any government for that matter. It's better off that you keep your money because you're a better steward of it anyway. You're going to put it back into your family, into your business. You're going to do investments with it. I think we're better served if you keep more of your money. So if you go ahead and you click the link and you sign up and you want the discount code for GoGo's package, that's absolutely great. You're also going to get a free consult if you'd like it to see what your situation is, how much you could save in taxes, and how to put together a proper plan. It's a free blueprint. There's nothing that there's no hidden billing. We're not going to sit there and hit you over the head and say we want money. No, this is a courtesy to you guys for spending the time with us as a thank you for taking 3 hours out of your day and spending it with us. We don't take that lightly. And what I'd like you to do is click that link and schedule a time so somebody could look at your situation. We're going to use the risk reduction formula, and we're going to see if we can't find some gold nuggets to put money back in your pocket. Give me a thumbs up if you'd like some more money back in your pocket. If you'd like something that paid you, yes, you have nothing to lose, only something to gain. So I hope that you take advantage of this offer. Again, these are fun things for us. We love doing programs. I like teaching. And even more so, I like hunting for gold nuggets, and my staff likes hunting for gold nuggets, and we like creating anonymity packages where we know that you can sleep better at night and that you can build your business without the fear of somebody trying to take it away from you. Again, GoGo's program, I can't stress it enough. It will absolutely add a valuable skill set to you and your business if you go through it. Watch it with your staff. That's kind of I always say that when somebody subscribes and buys a program, bring everybody and anybody because you want them to understand it. And then by all means, take advantage of the consult with us where we can do a risk reduction formula and do a blueprint. And we can look at any exposure that you may have. And then also see if there's some money that you've been leaving on the sideline. If nothing else, if we find you 10 grand a year, I think you'll like us, right? If we can put $10,000 in your pocket, I think it's time well spent. And that's the beautiful part about tax planning and asset protection planning is that it always is a net possible. You could spend $1, but save 10. Your net gain is $9, right? That's our favorite thing to do is to actually more than pay for the service, but put a bunch of money back in your pocket so you can grow your business. That is it for today, guys. I know that there was a few questions. Let me just see if there's anything here. Can I put my car into a holding company? What are the pros and cons? The card really doesn't have a business purpose. You could put a car into an LLC. Generally, if it's something where we are, if it's a collectible, I might do that. Otherwise, most cars I'm just keeping in my personal name or in my living trust. Doesn't the Corporate Transparency Act change visibility? No. The Corporate Transparency Act is with FinCEN, and it's a non-public database. It's a private database, just like your tax returns. It's with the Treasury. So FinCEN's a division. So it does not cause you to lose any of your anonymity with the state. It works great. Can you tell us about Rob's 401ks? Not sure if I'm spelling it correctly. It's rollover as a business startup. It's when you use a 401k to invest in a new business. You can use your own 401k. It is legal. It's a one-time funding where you set up a C corporation, and that actually works. Let's see. Is this for the actual or for the simplified method? I think you're talking about cars, or you're talking about the home office. When I did the home office for the sole proprietor, I used the safe harbor. When I used the car, it was for the reimbursement. I think that's what you're asking. If not, I don't know. Can an LLC not elect to be taxed as an S Corp qualify for some of these deductions like 280A as well? No. You need to actually be a corporate tax. LLC does not exist for the purposes of the IRS. There's no tax form for a LLC, for example, it uses somebody else. So you're telling the IRS to treat it as a partnership, ignore it, and look at the owner's return, or you're an S Corp or a C Corp. I would say start as the S Corp, and that gives you access to the accountable plan. Does Anderson have resources for trademarking intellectual property? We talk about it sometimes, but I don't have any resources for you. There's a lot of folks online. Your trademark is automatic when you use your trademark in interstate commerce. So there's a lot of misunderstanding. People think they have to register it to get protection. You actually get protection just by using it. It's just like a copyright. As soon as I write a book, it's mine. So Toby said if you're making less than $20,000 per year is what it really comes down to. $20,000 a year, if it saves you, it might save you, let's just say you took a salary of 10,000, it might save you 1,500 bucks, maybe a little bit more depending on your situation. And so the question is the juice worth the squeeze? Are we saving enough? And it could be that the answer is yes, especially if you're on an upward trajectory. But I'm just saying a lot of people that start off as sole proprietors don't know where that line is. And by the way, we can go retroactive. So even if you were acting as an LLC taxed as a sole proprietor, you can actually make a change when you file the tax return, or before the end of the year, you can make an election to treat it as an S Corp. It's a one-page document to treat it as an S Corp. It's always fun. There's Sally, and she's quoting some Man of War. Kareem and I are metalheads, so she's definitely hitting the mark on that one. Hail, Sally. And I'm not going to say the rest, but if you guys are metalheads, you know what comes after Hail when you're talking about Man of War. All right, guys. Hopefully you gained a little bit of wisdom, and it was worth your time. And if nothing else, great luck to you. And I hope that you guys have a fantastic evening wherever you may be. Share this when we get it as a video and you think it's valuable. Share it with others. We would love to see that we're able to help other people. And if you thought it was valuable, by all means, let us know. And let us know by sharing it with other people and saying, hey, this was valuable. You should watch it. Thanks, guys.